This is LBC from Global, leading Britain's conversation with Nick Abbot.
Right, whatever.
Oh, hello there. Very nice to meet you.
The Brazilian rainforest is starved of rain, and stretches of the Amazon River have dried up in the midst of a protracted drought. Bone-dry vegetation has created tinder-like conditions. It's a similar story in the Pantanal region, not the Pantaluni region. That remains moist.
Disgusting.
In the Pantanal region, the world's largest tropical wetland, more than 60% was enveloped in smoke. Meanwhile, in the past week, floods have killed at least 384 people in Myanmar, 21 people in Central Europe, 10 in Morocco and 6 in Japan. Storm Boris has ravaged countries, including but not limited to Poland, the Czech Republic, Romania, Austria and Italy, leading to at least 24 deaths and billions of pounds worth of damage, which certainly sounds like Boris.
Yeah. Wait a minute.
The World Weather Attribution Group, the WWA, said one recent 4-day period was the rainiest ever recorded in Central Europe, as in history. An intensity made twice as likely by climate change, say experts. On the other hand, experts in nothing at all posted anonymously on Facebook that none of this is evidence of climate change. It's all just weather, so I'm convinced. Further torrential rain across Britain caused more travel chaos today. As flooding left rail lines underwater, drivers stranded on submerged motorways and schools closed. Trains going through going through Shropshire were blocked by flooding at Wellington Station, appropriately enough, which was left looking more like a Venetian canal after heavy rain deluged the tracks. Flooding also blocked services to and from Aberystwyth in West Wales, as well as on the Chiltern Main Line in Oxfordshire between Banbury and Bicester, and here, there and everywhere, baby. Fire crews evacuated 20 flood-hit residents from Hitchin in Hertfordshire. A driver was rescued after his car became submerged in Hall Green in Birmingham. In Northamptonshire, 35 people were rescued from rising floodwaters at a caravan park in Yarwell. The Environment Agency had 113 flood alerts and 63 flood warnings in place for England this morning.
Warning!
The Met Office warned of cancelled trains, power cuts, flooded homes, spray on roads, communities becoming cut off and fast-flowing or deep flood water causing danger to life. Drivers are advised to turn off their headlights and only drive with their fog lights on because that makes you look cool. And always drive faster than is safe because nothing bad will ever happen to you. You are special.
Correct.
Of course, if you are driving a Vauxhall hatchback, you will already be doing this.
Thank you.
Appreciate your cooperation. Would you like to hear the long-range forecast for the next 4 weeks?
No.
I don't blame you. So, from now until the 11th of October, you ready? Rain in the far southeast at first, but drier and brighter conditions to follow. But only for a while before rain and possibly strong winds arrive next weekend. And then middle 2 weeks of the next month. Middle 2 weeks of October. Blimey, it's October already. I can't believe it's practically Jesus' birthday. Middle 2 weeks of next month. Rain and strong winds, but during the second half of the month, longer periods of dry weather developing. Longer periods of dry weather developing? We'll take it. Dan texts, evening, Nick. Does Carol know that skier has stolen her safe word? Has he? Has he? What's her safe word again? Mine's dingleberries and hers is, oh no. Sausages. That's right. Sausage. Oh, right. This is a hostages thing. Oh, got it. Right. Does Carol know that skier has stolen her safe word of sausages? If Rishi starts talking about dingleberries, we'll know your podcast is listened to in the corridors of power. You'll be on a list, Nick. Yeah, I do a podcast with Carol McGiffin.
Oh, right, yeah.
And we agree on absolutely nothing at all. I mean, we agree so violently that we can't even discuss politics of any kind. And so I, in a genius move on my part, decided that we would have safe space words, and if either of us thought we were getting into trouble, we were getting stuck in the weeds, then we would yell out that word and we would immediately start talking about something else, a prearranged topic, which we select from a list. It's a podcast. It's called What's Your Problem with Nick and Carol, and I think you'll be delighted with it.
Oh, right, yeah.
It comes out Mondays and Fridays. There's over 250 episodes up there, I think, each one of which is highly amusing. What's Your Problem with Nick and Carol? That's the earliest plug I've ever done. This text says, hey, Nick, hope you had a nice holiday in the BLT capital of the country, Brighton. Not the country Brighton, in the BLT capital of the country, Brighton. What does BLT mean? Because I suspect that I've been set up. I mean, I know it's bacon, lettuce and tomato, but why would Brighton be the bacon, lettuce and tomato capital of the country? Does BLT in this instance mean something else? Should I not be saying it? 0345 6060 973. Rochester, Lulu.
Nick, darling, hello.
Lulu.
Oh, I'm sorry to be a suspiciously keen caller, but I haven't called you for a while now. I've been getting withdrawal symptoms.
From
not speaking to you, darling.
Right.
Yes. Now, look, Nick, have you, I know you've recorded it, have you watched the David Chase documentary yet?
Yes, I have.
Oh, wow.
We're talking about the David Chase documentary of The Sopranos.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Wasn't it fascinating?
It was very, very good. Yes.
Yeah, I loved it. Do you know what struck me? You know when you're watching the auditions for the Tony character, and all those guys were, right enough. They were good. And then you see James Gandolfini playing the scene that they auditioned for, and it's like night and day, isn't it?
What struck me was that they all read the same lines, and all of the other actors for his role, they were angrily shouting the lines, and he just said it really kind of quietly, and then built up to anger right at the end of it. And I thought, that's the way to do it.
I just feel that he was born to play that character. In fact, in that whole show, all of the characters, I cannot imagine anybody else playing those characters.
But that's only because you've only seen those people playing those characters.
Yeah, but they've just owned them, I feel. I could never ever...
Have I got Simon Cowell on the phone here? That you owned the stage, you made it your own?
So, it was great. And I think David Chase is a fascinating character, isn't he?
I didn't realise that he was kind of like Tony Soprano himself. I mean, I'm not saying that he killed a lot of people, but
no,
he seemed a bit of a wise guy himself.
And the mother was based completely on his own mother. Yeah. And actually, when you see the auditions for her role as well, I mean, all those actresses were great, but, Nancy Marchand, she came and she just nailed it,
I know.
Well, the whole world's gone crazy.
Yeah, she really did. Yeah.
Fantastic.
All right, well, if you've got any other suggestions for us, Lulu, then put them down on a piece of paper and pop it in the post, all right? Cheers, my dear. 0345 6060 973. She's getting withdrawal symptoms from talking to me. Just going to have to push through it, Lulu. You'll be all right on the other side. Dan texts, evening, Nick. No, I've read that one. This one says, Graham texts. Graham texts, Bradford texts. What does that mean? We'll read on, it may become clear. Sir Kid Starver and Blue Labour is going to get all the disabled back to work while snooping on their bank accounts. Voted Labour got the Stasi, says Graham texts, Bradford texts. I have no idea what that means. I mean, come on. This is actually getting quite silly now. Let's wait to... No, we can't wait till the budget. We've made our minds up now. No! The entire country is not fixed back to how it used to be 14 years ago in the first 84 days of his prime ministership. And so he is a catastrophic ocean-going failure. Let's bring Boris Johnson back, no? No. How about the Lizbot?
Absolutely.
Not. Who are you suggesting might be better? Anyone at all? How about... I pressed it and it didn't happen. This government. That one. I'll look into that later. 0345 6060 973. Chingford. Hello, John.
Hello?
Yes, John.
Oh, Nick, hello?
Hello?
Hello.
I didn't expect to come on so quick. I thought you were going into the break, actually.
Well, I'll tell you what, John, I'll put you on hold and I'll go into the break. Another satisfied customer. Tariq in Chertsey says, I was really impressed by Sakir's sizzling sausages speech. Second thoughts, it may have been the versed speech. Oh, these are the jokes, folks. Funny, no?
No.
Sarah and James in Ipswich says, Nick, have you heard about the giant duck that lived at York University? No. His name was Longboy. Longboi. He was a cross between a mallard and an Indian runner duck. Is this a joke? Because if I get to the end of this and it's a joke, I'm going to be very, very angry. Sarah and James in Ipswich says, have you heard about the giant duck that lived at York University? No. He was a cross between a mallard and an Indian runner duck. You'd have never seen a bigger duck, but now he's missing, presumed dead. They've made a life-size statue in his honour. And there's a picture that's just been put on my screen of this. That's an unusually large duck. Why is that duck so big? An Indian runner duck? What's a runner duck? Don't tell me. It runs. Am I close? That is a suspiciously large fowl. I think somebody should look into this. We're going to look into that very strongly and with great strength.
This is LBC with Nick Abbott. Call 0345 6060 973. Text 84850. Alexa, send a comment to LBC.
Hot air. H-O-T-A-I-R.
Hot air. There's not a lot of it about. Blooming freezing outside. It's like winter. This text says, this calamitous weather you're describing, isn't that what us old folk used to call September? I do recall September's past when it rained reliably every day, says that old person. Yes, rained reliably, came down a little bit, but I don't remember cars being swept away. Did you know this? We've had 250% of the weather that you would normally get in an average September already, and it's not even the end of the month. Can you believe that? Well, you probably shouldn't believe it because I just made it up, but it sounded plausible. But even if it's not true, it doesn't prevent it from being a fact. Chingford, hello, John.
Oh, hello, Nick. I hope I find you well this evening.
Yes, super duper. Thanks for asking.
Oh, no, you're welcome. I've got a couple of quick points, and I've got a bit of fashionista fun. Shall I do the fun first, or do that after?
When you say fun, what do you mean?
Well, sort of, funny stuff, a bit of the other 2 points are kind of serious, right, but I'll get through them very quickly.
Okay.
But I've got a bit of fashionista fun, but maybe we'll round off the thing with that. I'll do it first.
I'm going to go with, have the fashionista fun for pudding, and the main course will be whatever it is you're about to say. Okay. Well,
just two things. I noticed that the two young women who threw the can of soup over the glass frame Van Gogh painting have just been sentenced to, I think Phoebe's gone down, Phoebe 23.
Life in prison, yes.
No, she's gone down for
by lethal injection.
2 years. 2 years. And her companion Anna's gone down for 20 months. Now, I thought the prisons were full.
Yes.
I just find it kind of extraordinary. I'm sure there must have been an alternative.
Well, there's always room in a prison for a soup slinger.
Yeah. Also, allegedly, the frame cost 10 grand, and that's where they say the damage was done, which sounds extraordinary.
It sounds a bit high for a frame. Yeah.
Yeah.
Particularly one that's not really that old.
Yes. Yes, it's all rather extraordinary, really. I mean, Elon Musk has been ranting about don't go to England because it's full of released paedophiles roaming the streets.
Well, I'll sum up everything that Elon Musk has said on any subject, both before and after this moment. Yeah, just take it. That's about as deeply as you need to think about that. Is a man whose head is full of hot air.
Yes, well, I'm full of that. And also the smooth fest between Keir Starmer and Trump. Also with Mr. Lammy there, who's been very unkind to Trump in the past.
Very, very
I don't know
accurate.
how their 2-hour lunch went down.
He's been very accurate about Donald Trump in the past.
Yeah. But, it's just, I don't know if things will get any trade deals if Trump does become Prime Minister, but I very much doubt it. So,
right. So what's the funny part?
Oh, the fact, no, you'll probably be covered in the Trump thing. No, fashion is fun. As you know, Lionel Blair's are back in fashion. Now, I predict next year the old Zapata moustache will be coming back. Unfortunately, my Zapata moustache, I look more like a walrus combined with, I don't know, Colonel Blimp, not Charles Bronson or Burt Reynolds or Tom Selleck.
I recommend you don't describe yourself like that on dating websites. That's the best advice I can give to you, John. Thanks a lot, mate. 0345 6060 973. Lionel Blair's flares, by the way, in case you were wondering. This text says this. No, read that one. Text from Dan. Waiting in A&E for 11 hours now.
What?
Blimey. And then he gives us a little bit too much information about why he is in there, which I won't share with you. And then he says, so glad to hear the yeah, whatever headline of the show, the first smile of today. Yes, I carted it up and I'll be using it frequently.
Right, whatever.
That's one of my current favourites. Well, all the best, Dan. I hope you get seen soon. This text says, I'm appalled that Starmer went and paid fealty to Trump. He should return to the USA and meet Harris and stay there. Starmer. Fealty. All right, shall we start there? Oh, OK, why not? Skier had a 2-hour meeting with Donald Trump last night as the pair met for the first time. The Prime Minister visited the Republican presidential candidate at his Trump Tower in New York on Thursday evening. The current Foreign Secretary... Anyone? Anyone at all? Oh, I'm sorry, time's up. David Lammy. David Lammy, the current Foreign Secretary, previously called Donald Trump a woman-hating, neo-Nazi sympathising sociopath, a tyrant in a toupee, a dangerous clown, and a racist KKK and Nazi sympathiser. Wow. Shall I go through that again? He's a woman-hating, neo-Nazi sympathising sociopath, a tyrant in a toupee, a dangerous clown, and a racist KKK and Nazi sympathiser. To which Donald Trump said, I don't wear a toupee. Skier and Donito had a 2-hour dinner before Skier had to leave and fly back to the UK. And the Prime Minister said he welcomed the opportunity to meet the former president. The press say they discussed the long-standing friendship between the United Kingdom and the United States, as well as the importance of continuing the strong and enduring partnership between our two countries. Such a thing only exists in our minds, not theirs. I mean, Skier may have said those things about the long-standing friendship and the importance of continuing the strong and enduring partnership between our two countries. He may have said that. But the screaming Mimi stopped listening after about 2 seconds when he realised that none of this had anything to do with him personally. Skier just thought he might as well go and suck up to the tangerine tornado in case just enough American voters are persuaded that voting for Adolf Hitler is in their best interests. And if there are, then Donald Trump has a watch he would like to sell them. Seriously, he's hawking watches now. It's a beautiful watch. Nobody saw such a time-keeping piece, believe me. It tells the time like nothing else in history. Everybody says so. It goes up to 13 o'clock, which is one more than any other watch out there, and it comes with my signature on it, which is only $100,000. Get it today. Sell your house, if necessary. It strikes on the hour. We're calling it the Ding Watch. It's for dingalings. So Skier met with the Looney Tune in the gruesome grotto in Trump Tower, where they managed to fit in all of the hideous bad taste items they couldn't find space for in a Russian hooker's handbag. But in a blow to Downing Street, he was unable to arrange an introduction to Democratic candidate Kamala Harris. who looks like she will get more votes than Ancient Orange and win more states than him and get more electoral college votes and still get cheated out of the presidency by a woman-hating, neo-Nazi sympathising sociopath, a tyrant in a toupee, a dangerous clown, a racist KKK and a Nazi sympathiser.
Oh, shut up!
He answers to that description. Your husband has been maligned, Melania.
I don't care.
She's not that bothered. 0345 6060 973. Wanstead. Hello, Sophie.
Nick, how are you?
I am great, mate.
I love that description, tyrant in a toupee.
Tyrant in a toupee, yeah.
His hair reminds me of vermicelli.
Who?
My mum used to make vermicelli. It's like a really thin...
Vermicelli.
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 It's like a long... It looks like pasta, but it's not.
But it is, though.
Is it?
Isn't it?
Vermicelli. It's pasta.
Isn't it chili? Vermicelli.
Oh, vermicelli, that's it. That was my next guess. My mum used to make it.
How did she describe it to you when she served it?
She said it...
Here's some vermicelli.
My mum used to call it Sevian. That's our language. And she used to make a sweet dish out of it.
Right.
And that's what it's here.
She used to make a sweet dish out of pasta.
Vermicelli.
Vermicelli. Chili? Chili. Yeah,
Vermicelli.
Yeah, whatever it is, sounds like foreign muck to me.
Yes, that's bound for Rwanda.
Chili.
So now Donald Trump.
It's Vermicelli.
Oh, I thought it was Cilli. Okay, I stand corrected.
It's a traditional type of pasta found in the spaghetti family. But that is pasta, isn't it?
Okay.
It's thinner than spaghetti, while in Italy it's thicker. Well, that makes no sense at all. I like the vermicelli.
I like it too.
We're making noises.
But Trump, I'm so amazed. This isn't what I rang about. But I'm so amazed he didn't say, I was such a fantastic president. They tried to assassinate me twice. I mean, he'd have to lay claim to that.
Nobody has ever been more presidential than him.
I can be more presidential than anybody.
Now, Nick, I need your help.
Yes.
You need to make a public health announcement again.
Go on.
So I know you've spoken about it, and it's a bugbear of mine.
Yes.
And a friend didn't believe me when I told this friend that when you flush the on the loo...
Yeah. Fecal flora cloudburst.
Yes.
Yes.
And it's called... You need to put the lid down.
Put the seat down.
Correct.
Yes, that's right. Put the seat down and evacuate the area. Or maybe I shouldn't have used the word evacuate in that sentence.
Well, a workman came into my flat and didn't put the seat down.
Oh, a workman used your facility?
Yes.
Are you out of your mind?
I wasn't at home. I was at school. So
he broke in, yes.
No, he had a key from certain evidence left that he had used my loo.
Now,
So
I'm in the position where I'm about to get a new bathroom. And I know that if the builders put the bathroom in, then they're going to use the facility before I do.
Disgusting.
And that will cause me certain mental anguage.
Absolutely.
So how do I stop this from happening? I mean, I'll either ask them to hold on to it or go outside. But I don't want, if it's a new bath, like if it's my old bathroom, I don't really care. But the new one, just for me.
Well, unfortunately, if you're not at home when they fit the bathroom in, you will not know whether they've used it or not.
Well, that's neither here nor there, because even if I am at home, they're going to use it anyway. I mean, what am I going to say? No?
Well, there are things you can do to find out if the workman used the bathroom when you weren't at home.
You can put cling film over the toilet seat.
You can position the loo roll in a certain position, and if it has been moved...
No, but that doesn't... Yeah, but that just tells you that they've done it. It doesn't prevent them from doing it. What is that chirping in the background? Please tell me you've got a parrot.
No, it's my fire alarm again.
Oh, Struth, Sophie, will you get that fixed?
I know.
It's for your personal protection, your fire alarm. The reason it makes that incredibly annoying noise is that it's forcing you to do something about it, and what you're doing is trying to ignore it.
I have 2 others in the flat, so one of them is bound to go off.
Yeah.
But
eventually, there it goes. How can you live with that? Seriously, I mean, how can you live with that? I'm hundreds of, well, not hundreds, but I'm tens of miles away from you, and it's putting my teeth on edge.
I feel like taking a sledgehammer to it.
Yes,
Nick.
exactly right. Or you could just replace the battery. Your choice. Think carefully about that choice. All right, thanks a lot, Sophie. 0345. The amount of people that I talk to on this show, and that they've got their fire alarm been chirping in the background, and I'll ask them how long it's been going, and say, oh, I don't know, months. Just change the battery. Am I helping people yet?
No.
Not really, no.
Nick Abbott on LBC. Call 0345 6060 973.
Shut up.
I can't. Brad in Bristol says, I can't wait for summer next year. I hope it's on a weekend. Just this last month, I have noticed, by the way, to my chagrin, that all the nice days did fall on a weekend. And I work on a weekend. But you know me, I never complain.
Whinging and whining and moaning.
Chris in Stubbington says, why on earth would Labour want to snoop on the disabled people's bank accounts? Oh, and good luck with getting me back to work. My cerebral palsy is awful. P.S. A few years ago, the job centre sent me for 3 jobs, barman, labourer and draftsman. I'm worried I didn't choose to be disabled, says Chris. Oh, but you get treated as though you chose to be disabled, just like the poor get treated as though they decided to become poor. Well, if you did not take the precaution to be born to rich parents, then you only have yourself to blame. Isn't that right, Smug?
I don't know anything.
South Kensington, Leonard.
Oh, good evening, Neil.
Yes, Leonard.
Yes, I thought I'd talk about anything other than Trump this evening.
Go ahead.
Dear. What do you think about the fact that most of the supermarkets, well, all of them actually, are going to be going cashless very soon?
Are they?
Well, that's what I was speaking to somebody tonight about, and they were, in a position to be able to give me the information. Let's say they worked for the supermarket.
Oh, right. They worked for the supermarket, and they're going to be going cashless. It's pretty much the only place you can...
They're all going to go cashless. All the shops are going to go cashless.
It's pretty much the only place that you can pay with cash these days, the supermarket.
Well, no, it isn't. I mean, you go to markets and you need cash. They're not going to be taking Visa debit cards, are they, in the market and stuff like that?
Of course they are. Everyone's got one of them machines now. Buskers have got them.
Actually, it doesn't surprise me. Maybe at some stage you will be going down the market and they will be presenting you with those machines. I mean, what do you think of it, though? What do you make of the fact
I think
that it's all going to go
cash, we will miss it when it's gone. I think it is it's a method of control, and it's a method by which the cashless society is a method by which you will become ever further in debt, because money doesn't mean anything when you got a card and you just boop it on a machine. It's like you're not actually spending anything. It's like you've got a magic ticket to anything you want. Whereas if you were handing cash over the counter, and you would run out of cash, of course, if you spent a lot of it, then that really drives it home that you're spending a lot of money. But if you're just waving a plastic card around, then it feels like everything's free.
Well, yeah, but that's been this with credit cards. It's been like that for years. But I think this going cashless stuff is a little bit concerning because, like you quite rightly said, it's a method of control. And I think I personally think people should be concerned because there are a lot of people that prefer to use cash. They want their anonymity, Mm-hmm. They don't want to be traced and
Yes.
surveyed for spending money. You know?
And there, no doubt, is at least a few people who have got their fingers hovering over their phones at the moment who want to call in and say, well, if you're not doing anything wrong, you've got nothing to worry
If you're
about.
hinting at me, then I'm afraid that's
No, I'm not hinting at you at all. You're not listening to what I'm saying. And those people who are on the verge of calling and saying that can stick it, unless they want a camera in their own homes. Because, by extension, if you're not doing anything wrong, then you've got nothing to worry about. Thanks a lot, Leonard. Keep cash alive. Take the KASH, as Reckless Eric sang. Thanks a lot, mate. Trish in Erith says, yesterday I decided to call our new rescue hamster Maggie. Today, Dame Maggie Smith died. I'll be very careful with future pet names. Yeah, don't call them, if you find a couple of them, don't call them Mick and Keith, whatever you do. This text from Chris says, I just got back from a week in Switzerland. Great to see where the glaciers used to be. I had to Google an historical picture and hold my phone up. That wasn't the most depressing part of the holiday, though. Being abroad makes you realise how awful this country is. I drove 600 miles and never saw a pothole. Their trains travel vertically up mountains and are still more reliable than ours. Where's all the money gone? Says Chris. Excellent question, Chris. Did you buy a cuckoo clock when you were there by any chance? Where has all the money gone? Any thoughts, Bodge?
I can't comment on that.
He can't comment on that. If he knows anything, he's not commenting. If you want more information, you're going to have to read his book. or pay to read his column in the Mail. Anybody want to do that?
No.
Yeah, it's a no from me. Let's have, now, let's see now, who's been waiting the longest? San Francisco. Hello, Mike.
Hello.
Yes,
Nick,
sir.
How are you? I wanted to talk about words today, just briefly, because we do have a special relationship. We have a common language, mostly. But the word of the day is scheme, because in your country, if I understand it, a scheme is just a system of doing something or a way of implementing a policy.
A scheme, yeah, country, it could be a plan.
A scheme, yes, but in this country, a scheme is always dodgy. If I walked into a bank and said I had a scheme for something, I would be immediately reported to the authorities. And nobody had a scheme is usually more of a verb here, but nobody uses scheme to talk about what you talk about with.
Yeah. It's not a plan. It's a way of acquiring money or favours through illicit means.
There you go, exactly. But you have a word that I wish we had in this country because it's been bothering me for years, and that word is fancy.
It's what?
It's such a nice word to talk about. And as used as a verb, it's such a nice word to talk about.
Say that word again. Say that word again.
Fancy.
Oh, F-A-N-C-Y. Fancy. Yeah, fancy schmancy.
It's a lovely word. But used as a verb, how you use it when a man sees a woman that he likes and says, maybe he says he fancies her.
Right.
That's such a nice way of saying.
But it could also be something that is a bit highfalutin, a bit, ornate.
Yes, that's the adjective type.
Right.
Now, the third word I want to mention is yours. I have some British friends. Seriously, I do. I've never heard any one of them ever use an Elizabethan oath.
What's that?
And people, you say struth all the time.
Struth.
I haven't. That hasn't been used in 500 years. But you use it all the time. Does everybody use it?
It's an Elizabethan oath. I had no idea. Struth.
Yeah, it goes back. That struth. It goes to people. So I've never heard anybody but you.
Right.
Any British person, but you say it.
How about call blimey? Have you ever heard that?
Yes, I've heard.
You've
heard
that one.
That a lot.
Right.
Yes.
Have you heard the one that starts? Have you heard the one that starts with a B and ends in CKS?
Yes, I've heard that one. That I hear all the time.
All the
I thought
time.
it ended in an X. I thought it ended in an X.
No.
What do I know?
No, it does not. No. X for don't say it on the air. No.
There you go.
Or
Anyway,
in fact, write it on the front cover of an album and put it in the window of your shop.
Rock and roll!
Don't do that either.
Well, you know, I don't like it when I've always loved British people and the way you all speak, and I don't like it when you use crummy American swear or dirty words.
Yeah.
They just don't sound right coming out of your mouth.
Coming out of a Brit mouth. No, that's right. It's like
That's right.
It's like we all personally know His Majesty the King, and we all have tea at 3. That's the kind of Americans' idea of what Brits are like, which is so far removed from the truth. I can't even begin to tell you, Mike. But thanks for the update from 6,000 miles away.
Yes,
all right.
long,
long way. Yeah, all right. Thanks a lot, Mike. 0345 6060 973. It was 6,000 miles away, but it did actually sound as though he was talking from 6,000 miles away. Usually the phone call from another country, from a great distance, is coming through clear as a bell, but not that one. It's probably been rerouted through a lot of British phone lines. Around and around and around it went till it came out sounding like that. Paul in Manchester said, I've heard when Starmer met Trump, he stole his nose and has threatened not to give it back unless he behaves. Who stole whose nose? He didn't point that out. Starmer stole Trump's nose. It's a total disgrace. We're going to look at it very strongly. Steve says, evening, Nick. It used to be the Prime Miniature. Now it's the Prime Miskia. Wow. I hope that didn't take long for you to think up, Steve. Because that's really bad. Really bad. Let's see now. Bath. Hello, John.
Hey.
Hey.
I was just going to say, hello, by the way.
Yes.
Hello. Your colleague is very, very funny, by the way. Your colleague is a very clever chap.
Who?
The guy who put me through to you.
The receptionist?
Is that what he is? That's so mean. In my mind, he's not a receptionist. In my mind, he's more than that. But anyway, you know the American chap that was just talking? He was saying if when he hears people swearing and he hears us with our accents swearing using American swear words, there are words.
Which you won't be using.
I will not be using them, but if the idea that somehow it just sounds worse when we say it.
Yes.
I don't know if you've ever seen Curb Your Enthusiasm. There was a scene where Michael Landon was coming out with some horrible swear words, and it's horrific to hear somebody with such a well-spoken voice use.
Who's Michael Landon?
You know, I might be pronouncing his name wrong. He was a chap in Salem's Lot, blonde fellow, very posh.
No idea.
He was in the Musketeers, blonde fellow. Did Michael London or Michael Landon or I don't know.
Peter York. No, not Peter York. He's the guy who writes and talks like Prince Charles.
Yeah, a bit like. Yeah, I know. But it's that fellow anyway. He was in the Curb Your Enthusiasm episode.
No, I don't recall.
But anyway, it makes no matter.
No, not really. But at least it's taken a lot of time to talk about it.
This is the point where you hang up and say bye.
Yeah, bye.
But no, I was going to ask you a question here because, do you know, in terms of Keir Starmer, that he's actually meeting Trump? Isn't I may be wrong, but I always thought that it wasn't protocol for an ex-president to meet current prime ministers and current presidents. And I think the fact that Keir Starmer is meeting him is kind of almost like breaking some kind of protocol, yeah.
No, I believe that as he is the nominated candidate for the Republican Party, then it is right and proper that he should meet other world leaders, because it's just possible that enough...
but, I mean, technically, Trump is not a world leader yet.
No, but... You may be right, but I doubt it. I mean, if there is protocol that suggests that the leader of this country can't meet anybody from another country if they're not the leader of that country, that seems a bit restrictive.
I know, but you know what it is? I'm finding it slightly difficult now because, I'm really glad that we've said goodbye to the last 15 years of whatever it was we went through.
Yeah.
But it just seems as if Keir Starmer is self-sabotaging right now.
Well, it's been a rocky start, but then, a lot of things that start shakily find their feet in the end and come out on top.
And you called it correctly, Nick, when you said that everyone was going to turn and start attacking and stuff.
Immediately, I mean...
It was like, you could never a more true word was spoken because it's happening.
You could have set your watch by it. Like 3 seconds after he won the election, everything that was wrong with this country was Keir Starmer's fault. Yeah.
Honestly, glasses and suits, and it's like, and he let his son study in somebody's house.
Yeah.
Even though he didn't charge anything for it. It was just like, this is not on anywhere near the scale of the last government.
It's just laughable and it's just annoying. And whenever I see a Conservative ex-minister on the television being asked for their opinion, and I've said this before, I cannot get past the thought, are you still speaking?
Are you still speaking? And how how much brass neck have you got? It amazes me.
Exactly, yes. And ditto the columnists in the right-wing press who are picking up every tiny, insignificant, nonsense little thing they can to get skier on, while completely ignoring the mountainous size of scandal and corruption from the previous administration, as though the last 14 years is a figment of our imagination. I can't believe it.
Nick, I'm still getting over Kemi Badenoch saying she was working class and she once flipped a burger.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it's as believable as anything else she's ever said. All right, John, got to go. Thanks for that.
This is LBC with Nick Abbott.
Hello, boys.
Tessa says, I endured unprecedented autumn weather in order to walk through the park and enjoy the first free jazz session of the season at the Welsh College in Cardiff. Oh, no, that was the wrong one. That's Goofy, not Groovy. That's the one I was going for. Have you heard? Tessa endured unprecedented autumn weather in order to walk through the park and enjoy the first free jazz session of the season. Yeah. That's at the Welsh College in Cardiff. Being soaked to the skin was worth it, says Tessa. Val in London says, vermicelli means little worms. Oh. Does it? Oh, well, then I don't like it. East Yorkshire. Hello, Mike.
Hi, Nick. Yeah. Bit of a complaint first.
Uh-oh.
You lot down south have got another opportunity to get happier than us up north.
Oh, yeah.
They're giving you happy water.
Happy water? What's that? HAPPY-ness?
Yeah, the Southern Water Companies are buying 40 million pounds of glacier water from Scandinavia, so you're getting happy Scandi water.
Well, I bet the water's not very happy to be dragged down these parts. It'll be blooming furious water by the time it gets here.
The only bad bit is, of course, you're going to have to pay for this. They're importing 40 million litres of Scandi water for you.
If only they hadn't, the water companies given away billions and billions and billions of our pounds to reward shareholders to sit there and do nothing, then we might actually have a reliable source of water in this country, but sadly not.
No, maybe so. But the other thing I wanted to ask you is, has your producer managed to show you the Boris promotional video for tomorrow's column yet?
Is it the one where he says, first of all, he looks as though he's so artfully distressed, it must have taken hours to do that hair just so. I mean, it's the amount of hairspray that has gone on that man's head to keep his hair sticking up like that. I mean, it's just incredible.
You don't need to put all of that product
in your hair. You just don't.
Yeah, but he does, in order to look like that. He carefully disarranges himself before he leaves the house, the opposite of what every ordinary, normal person would do, because he's still presenting himself to the world like a 5-year-old. Look at a picture of him at Eton. There's that famous one of him in a pillow fight, and it's the exact same haircut, the exact same untuckedness. He's just like a 5-year-old child. And now he's hawking his supposed memories.
Have you seen the content of it? I mean, tomorrow he's going to reveal in the Daily Mail a senior politician who he thought looked like a bullock that had just had a thermometer inserted unexpectedly of its rectum.
Right. Well, he looks like Mr. Blobby undergoing electrocution.
I mean, this
if that's
is
any help.
Or Sunday Sport. This is not supposedly one of our premier newspapers.
They can put it behind a paywall all they like. Am I going to pay for it?
No.
Not now, not ever, never.
He's going to reveal his true thoughts on Wishy and how.
Oh God! Well, I'm glad that you finished that. I'm glad you finished that sentence because he's going to reveal, and I thought, put it away, Boris. Nobody wants to see that.
And how he got sweet revenge on Gove. I mean, this is supposedly our former Prime Minister, a statesman in theory. This is just useless garbage. I mean, it's unbelievable.
Is it any wonder this country is in the state it is, having suffered through...
The great big greedy nincompoop.
The great big greedy nincompoop.
But Lammy didn't really have too much to worry about because... Think about what Johnson said about Trump.
Yes.
Went to meet him and then he said, he's Britain's Trump.
Yeah, exactly. The stuff that Boris Johnson said about Donito.
I think Donald Trump is clearly out of his mind.
Yeah.
And the other thing he said, I would invite him to London, but I don't want to subject Londoners to
his presence.
I think he's betraying a quite stupefying ignorance.
Said Boris Johnson of Donald Trump. We'd be at war right now. This entire country would be a cinder if Donald Trump had actually won the last election.
We wouldn't be in a good state. Well,
no, we wouldn't. No.
Let's just hope for November.
Yeah, fingers crossed. Yeah. All right, good work. Thanks a lot, Mike. Ta-da. 0345 6060 973. This text says, Kenneth Williams never allowed anyone, even visitors, to use his toilet. Well, sounds like a sound policy to me. Now, I don't mind the bill, because I'm in a genuine quandary about this, because I'm getting a new bathroom in, new toilet, new, this, that and the other. And I don't mind the builders using my old toilet because,
Disgusting.
It's awful in there. It was awful in there when I bought the place. So they can use it to their heart's content. I don't mind. But when the new one goes in, I don't want anybody to use it before me. I don't want anybody to use it after me. And I certainly don't want anyone to use it while I'm using it. So not before, not during, and not after. How am I going to get around that? They're going to have to bring their own portaloo, put it up in the garden. I know it sounds unreasonable, but I'm a very unreasonable person when it comes to, hygiene. Hygiene? This text says, please tell Sophie and Wanstead to fit a smoke alarm with a 10-year sealed battery. They only cost £15 each, no more annoying beeps. And I'll be coming back after the news with a whole switchboard of annoying beeps. Claire says, we came back home unexpectedly to find our builders stark naked taking a shower in our newly installed bathroom. No towel either. He was going to use his T-shirt to dry himself.
I think it's disgusting. I really think it's disgusting. I think something should be done about it.
Something should be done about it, Claire. That's just awful. I think in that circumstance, I would blast off and nuke the entire site from orbit. It's the only way to be sure. 0345 6060 973. Oh, talking of nukes, by the way, Vladimir Putin is threatening us again. So I'll talk about that. I want to talk about Thames Water. I want to talk about tax breaks that people get by buying farms. And then there's the Just to Stop Oil Soup thing. And Melania. Oh, here's something to think about. Melania used one word. She was asked for one word to describe her husband, Melania Trump. What one word would describe her husband? Text 84850. 0345 6060 973. Nick Abbot, LBC.
On your radio, on Global Player, and
Play LBC.
leading Britain's conversation. This is LBC. This is LBC from Global, leading Britain's conversation with Nick Abbot.
Hello.
Thank you for holding. Your call is important to us.
Yes, your call is important to us, and I'll be with it in just moments. Caller. Mark in Sheffield says, I really feel that David Lammy needs to stop sitting on the fence in regards to his opinion of Donald Trump. What, the opinion that he gave of Trump as a woman-hating, neo-Nazi sympathising sociopath, a tyrant in a toupee, a dangerous clown, and a racist KKK and Nazi sympathiser. That opinion. Yeah, just tell us what you think, David Lammy, for crying out loud. Stop prevaricating, man. Ian in Wrexham says, hi, Nick, when you get your bathroom done, hire a thunderbox for the riffraff builders to use. Then you get a pristine throne for my own person. Yes, because if they put it in, then they'll presumably want to, use it straight away. And what am I going to do? Barge them out the way? No, me first? I just can't stand the thought of it. I'm going to get them to put it in the new bathroom, and then I'm going to need them to put in another bathroom because the first one has been sullied.
Disgusting.
Oh, God. 0345 6060 973. Merthyr Tydfil. Hello, Jeff.
Hiya, Nick.
Jeff.
How are you doing?
Great, mate.
Nice to talk to you. Storm Helen hit in Carolina.
Oh, yeah.
Unprecedented, 3 years of it. Sea temperatures.
3 years? 3 years of what?
Massive, unprecedented storms.
Right.
Hurricanes, call them what you like.
Yeah.
Massive energy.
Well,
stored up in the Atlantic.
A warmer planet stores more energy in the air, and that's why the storms are stronger.
And that's why you got this rain in the UK.
Well, maybe, yeah.
It's sea temperatures.
Sea temperatures, right.
Yep. You remember that now. Don't do your homework, all right? The thing is, the news from this neck of the woods. The Goose and Cuckoo won another big prize. A
prize?
Yeah.
This is your local pub, and they won a prize.
Well, whatever you call them, awards, recognition,
yes,
whatever.
And?
The Gastropub of Wales.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's a big one. Or Gwent, or South East Wales or something.
Oh, well, hang on a minute. I mean, that sounded pretty impressive. And now it's like it's the best gastropub in the street it's on?
It's on. The Goose and Cuckoo. Anyway, the thing is...
so how much is a burger around their parts?
They would do burgers
in a gastropub. They must do.
Probably. I
bet 50% of the people that go in there want either a burger or fish and chips. Doesn't matter what's on the menu. That's the fact. That is what they want, and so they're going to have to put it on the menu. Otherwise, they're going to be a huge. Unless they're going for the people who like their food sort of mucked about with and put into pretty pictures and all of that, feigning stuff.
I tried to phone Sheila Fogarty this afternoon when she was trying to analyse what people think of the UK. Well, I couldn't get through, and I thought, hang on, you got a rule, haven't you? You can't do 2 calls in 24 hours. So I thought, I better wait for Nick. I'll wait for Nick, I thought.
Hang on a minute. What rule? There's a rule?
Well, that's what they've told me a couple of times. Oh, you've been on in the last 24 hours, so you can't go on.
Really? So it's like songs. You can't play the same song in 24 hours. Otherwise, the caller wins a major prize. Right.
You got it. Anyway, I was going to tell her that the UK could be equivalent of Sideshow Bob, the laughing stock of the world. I mean, since the developments, since 2016, I won't mention the word. And the thing is, Trump does not wear a toupee.
No.
Come on, give the guy his due.
That's that may be the only honest thing he's ever said.
I don't wear a toupee.
No, it isn't a toupee. It's one single strand of hair that he has woven into some sort of candy floss convection that hovers just slightly above his head.
Yeah. Okay. Well, the thing is, Nick, we are literally the laughing stock of the world, aren't we? After the nonsense that's gone on with Bojo and everybody else.
We are number one. With a bullet.
Yeah, sure is.
Okay, thanks a lot, Jeff.
Okay.
Ta-da, 0345 6060 973. The Goose and Cuckoo has won a prize. I am thrilled. David in Teddington says, "Hi, Nick, would it not have been better if the protesters had thrown the soup over Andy Warhol's iconic painting? At least it would have made it a bit more lifelike." But it wasn't Heinz, though, was it? Didn't they use Heinz, or was it Campbell's soup? I can't remember. It doesn't really matter. It doesn't really matter what flavour it was either. It's the chucking of it what counts. It seems a bit, we're virtually daring them to throw them in jail. And, of course, if every single person in the land took a can of soup to an art gallery, then, what would they do then? Close all the art galleries. 3 Just Stop Oil supporters have thrown soup over 2 of Vincent van Gogh's paintings just hours after fellow activists were jailed for doing the same bloomin' thing. Pictures show 3 Just Stop Oil activists stood in front of the sunflower painting at the National Gallery after covering it in soup again this afternoon. Phoebe, Anna were jailed earlier today for the same stunt that they performed in October 2022 as they came close to, quotes, destroying the masterpiece. I don't think they came within light years of destroying the masterpiece. It's behind... I mean, you could attack it with a missile. You probably wouldn't get through that glass. Soup was also thrown on the facade of the British Embassy this afternoon in Berlin. And it's also believed that was in solidarity with Phoebe Plummer and Anna Holland, who were jailed for 2 years and 20 months, respectively. Plummer and Holland caused as much as £10,000 to damage to the artworks. Not the artwork, but the frame that it was in. Really? 10 grand for a frame? Staff at the gallery inspected the painting. It says here, worth up to £72.5 million. What on earth does that mean? How could you put a price on something that famous and that much in demand? 72.5 million, or it could be 172.5 million. Depends how many people want it in the auction room. Silly thing to say. The staff inspected the frame as well while the women were still attached to the wall. And they were worried that the soup may have dripped through the protective glass. And if it had done, it's not very protective, is it? I mean, I assume that they chose that picture because of its protective glass. I mean, there's a lot of paintings at the National Gallery or in a gallery near you that don't have protective glass on. The pair had been to the museum in Trafalgar Square a day before the incident and bought the tins of soup from a Tesco supermarket in central London, if you please. Plummer said she had made peace with the decision and smiled as she was handed her sentence. Sentencing the woman, Judge Christopher Heher, H-E-H-I-R, Heher, said the cultural treasure could have been seriously damaged or even destroyed. He said soup might have seeped through the glass. You couldn't have cared less if the painting was damaged or not. Yeah, no punishment whatsoever for dodging a £3.7 million tax bill, by the way. This is just, Allied news. No punishment whatsoever for selling dud PPE to the NHS for billions and billions of pounds. No punishment for dumping billions of litres of sewage in rivers and waltzing off with billions of pounds of our money for excellence in being themselves. And no punishment for fitting flammable cladding to Grenfell Tower. But that whole soup thing, you are going down. 0345 6060 973. Let's have Kilburn. Joseph.
Good evening, Mr. Abbott.
Yes, Joseph.
Lovely to speak with you. I've been following closely your bathroom conundrum this evening, and I think I found a solution for you, Nick.
A solution to my bathroom nightmare?
Yes, your nightmare. What about hiring one of these Portaloo cabin things that you see on building sites and a chemical toilet that could be of use for your builders?
Well, yes.
That would be the solution.
But it would...
Have you got the space?
I have the space, but I don't think I've got the nerve.
Oh, I see.
I mean,
that would be going a step too far.
Well, I think if I were a builder and somebody said that to me, you can't use the toilet that you've just installed, you must go outside and use this plastic disaster that I've rented for the purpose, then I would be aggrieved, I think.
You would. But perhaps they're used to that sort of thing. You do see them quite dotted around people's refurbished properties.
Right, yes. No, I can understand
that. You'd have to take the bull by the horns, as they say.
Yeah, I think I'm not going to be doing that, but thanks for the advice. All right.
I'll leave you to your other callers. Perhaps your friend who's just closed his chip shop might call again this evening.
You'll leave me to my deliberations. Thanks a lot, Joseph. Cheers, mate. 0345 6060 973. Yeah, it just wouldn't seem right, would it? I mean, I don't want them to use it, but then I wouldn't want to ask them not to use it. What would be perfect is that if they brought their own Portaloo without even discussing it with me. Oh, don't worry about that. We'll use our own. We prefer it that way, they might say, in my dreams. But they're not going to say that, are they? They're going to be, all over my new... Thunderer. I'm not making that up. They used to call it that, didn't they? They probably still do. This text says, if we go cashless, then maths tests you do at school, when there's pictures of various notes and you have to work out how much money little Barry has, will be literally impossible for children. Yeah, I don't think that we should go cashless. I really don't. That just seems like a bad idea to me. I mean, give over complete control over your financial affairs to a government that you have absolutely no idea who's going to get in. I mean, they're already talking about looking through people's bank accounts who are in receipt of benefits. Well, are they going to look through the bank accounts of the people who run Britain's water industry, for instance? Are they going to be looking through the bank accounts of people who are in receipt of the public's funds for putting up a factory, because they said that they wouldn't be able to do it unless the government helped them out? No, it's the case in all of the above. Of course not. They're only going to go after the, us poor people who pay taxes.
The little people.
The little people. Broadest shoulders, my eye. Ross text, the production of cash controls the value of the currency. Even though it is only like 3% of all money in the world, it will never disappear or currencies entirely lose their value. I'm not sure that's true. Because when governments print money, they don't actually print money. They just squirt vast amounts of liquidity up the economy. They don't actually print it. It's just the amount that you can borrow. How much can you get in debt by? Not that I have any idea what I'm talking about on this or any other subject. Can you tell?
Yes. Nick Abbot on LBC. Call 0345 6060 973.
Hi, Annie. How are you?
I'm super. Thanks for asking. County Antrim. Spence.
Okay, Nick. Good evening.
Spence.
Nick, I was a little refreshed earlier.
Booze.
Mm-hmm. And I'd heard about this new AI, Gemini, Google search engine thingy bob.
Oh, yeah.
So I thought, even though I had the whole world at my fingertips, I for whatever reason, I decided to type into this new search engine, is Nick Abbott funny?
And the answer came back?
Negative.
Well, so if you want to know what the AI robots came back with, I can't tell you. I have it on the screen here.
Okay, so he asked an AI robot if I am funny, and what was the answer?
No.
Okay, hang on to get my glasses on, like just two seconds, mate. Ecstasy of fumbling. Right, here we go. So, so when I asked the AI engine, is Nick Abbott funny, it said, whether Nick Abbott is funny is subjective. It depends on individual taste. His humour often leans towards satire and social commentary, which can be appealing to some, but not to others.
Yeah, but for the others, I've got cow noises.
Sorry about that, snort, Nick. So it goes on to say, many fans of his show appreciate his dry wit and ability to poke fun at current events. However, others may find his style too cynical or abrasive.
Wow, that's a pretty smart AI.
Absolutely.
Yeah. To determine if Nick Abbott's humour is for you, it's best to give him a listen and see if his style resonates. That's what it said.
Wow. Well,
and then I also typed in, is Nick Abbott cool?
Cool?
Yeah, cool. Can we hear what it said? Yeah.
Well, I'm expecting the answer no.
Affirmative.
Yeah, no.
Here's what the robots had to say next.
Yes.
So whether Nick Abbott is considered cool is a matter of personal opinion.
Oh, well, that's the same thing they said about the funny thing. You just get the same answer over and over again. Well, basically, it's, I don't know.
I think I've been had, Nick.
Yeah, I believe so, yeah.
His comedic style and personality may resonate with some more than others.
But no, it's the same blooming thing.
Many fans of his work find him humorous.
Yeah.
Witty and insightful.
But you didn't ask you humorous, you asked cool.
I did say cool, I know, exactly. However, as with any public figure, there will be varying perspectives on his opinion.
Too much bleeping perspective, if you ask me.
So there you go. Nick, it sounds like you're in with the robots, told me. Whenever Skynet takes over.
Well, yeah. I'll be completely safe.
Correct.
Yeah. All right. Good work. Thanks a lot, Spence. I certainly will do nothing of the sort. If you find out any further information, let me know straight away. All right. This text says, Nick, serious question. What do you do in a work... Hang on a minute. Ask it what I caught 3 months ago that I still haven't got over. Ask it that. See what you get. This text says, Nick, serious question. What do you do when a workman asks you to use your bathroom? Because any who work at my flat always ask, how do you say no? Well, let me think about that.
No.
You just blurt it out, but it does seem unreasonable, doesn't it? And if you say no, then they, of course, are going to have to... They're either going to have to explode or they're going to have to go somewhere else. And if a builder goes somewhere else halfway through the day... Warning! That'll be the last you see of them that day. Probably the last you see of them that week. They'll come round first thing Monday morning. No, they won't. So it's probably best to, keep them on site. Keep them... full up to their eyeballs with tea and coffee, which is, of course, going to have the inevitable effect of them asking you if they can use your bathroom. And if you say no, well, then you're in big trouble. But I don't want them to use my new bathroom. My old bathroom, I don't care. They could set fire to my old bathroom, it wouldn't bother me. In fact, in order to give it a really good thorough clean, they probably will have to set fire to it. But the new one... all spangly and bright and shiny and new. That's just for my own personal, area. 0345 6060 973. Aberdeenshire. Catherine.
Oh, hi, Nick.
Yes,
That was
Catherine.
quick.
Shall I put you on hold? Do you need time to
No.
gather your thought?
No.
Okay.
No, I'm here. I have. I'm having my bathroom done.
Oh, yeah.
And I have got a portaloo in the garden for the builders.
Have you?
And it's working out absolutely fine.
Now,
And I didn't feel horrible about.
Now, can I ask you about the details of this?
Yeah.
So, because you're getting your bathroom done, does that mean when they rip it out, you won't actually have a toilet for them to use?
No.
So why did they...
I have got an.
Go on.
I have got another little bathroom.
Oh, blimey. She's got two bathrooms.
But the thing is, that was replaced a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
So it's all nice and spanky.
Right.
Spanky, whatever.
And they're not allowed to use that one?
Well, but I didn't say that. I thought maybe they sort of know me too well because they suggested they probably knew that I wouldn't really want in and out of that bathroom. Now it's a nice bathroom.
Yeah.
So they said, would you like us to get a portaloo? Mind you, they do charge me.
Well, they charge you, yeah. How much is a portaloo?
I think there's a one-off charge for delivering.
Yeah.
And I think it's £30 a week.
What? £30 a week?
I'm sure it's £30 a week. I can check that.
Is it a bit like
Hang on.
scaffolding? They charge you to deliver it, and then they charge you to take it away. Yeah.
I think it's... One sec, Nick. Is that portaloo £30 a week?
Who are you asking?
Quick, I'm on the radio. I'm asking my husband. He's still answering.
Right.
£7 a day. But only 5 days a week they charge you. And what was the one-off delivery and everything?
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Hang on. So they give you the weekend for free?
Hey, they must do. Yeah. So that's not bad. And he's just said, no, there wasn't a charge for delivering the thing. So really, £30 a week then.
Now, at what point does it need emptying?
Yes, and they do that regularly. Is it every week? They come every 2 weeks. They come every single week. A man comes in a lorry thing and changes it. So, I mean, I did peek in there once when it was first delivered. No, it looked nice and clean. And, I mean, it's up to your builders how clean they keep it.
And?
Isn't it?
Have you peeked in it lately?
No.
Go on, take a torch down to the bottom of your garden and open the door just a crack and take a little peek in there, Catherine.
Maybe, but if it's not nice, it's their problem, isn't it? But I would think do that because even if you're worried, when they fit the new toilet, then they'll use it. But there'll be quite a few days when the old toilet's out before the new one's in.
Right.
What are they going to do then?
Well, I also have another toilet, so they're going to be. So they're going to be tramping through to use the other one now. Oh God, it gets worse.
No, don't do that. Don't do it. If you've room in the garden. Do the portaloo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, if they offered, then that's one thing. But if I told them to do it, then I think that I would take that as an insult if I were there.
Feel awkward.
Yeah.
Do you know the builders, or have you met them before?
I can recognise them. I could pick them out of a lineup.
I don't think they'd mind.
Shall I say that you said to say?
Yeah, you can say Catherine said. And also, this time of year when it's wet, and if the boots are wet and muddy, you certainly don't want them tramping through the house to the other bathroom, do you?
That is right, yeah.
I think they'd understand. Before I go, one thing, it was really nice to hear Sophie on the phone again. And that smoke alarm battery beeping,
yes.
I don't think she's been on for a few years, and it was beeping then.
It was beeping then, I think you're right. Like a duck in the background, yeah. It's just, the reason it's annoying is because it's forcing you to change it. Don't ignore it.
Yeah.
Exactly. All right, good work, Catherine. Thanks for that. Sounds like she's sold the idea up her way, but not down mine. I don't think I could persuade... I don't think I could request that they do that. I think they would look askance at me. And that's my least favourite type of look. Askance. This text says, Nick, a former neighbour of mine had his benefit stopped for refusing to go for a job interview on a building site. He couldn't find anyone to look after his guide dog. Is that a joke? Or is it real life? I mean, am I hallucinating or is this real life? Richard in Wicklow says, hi Nick, I went to see Beetlejuice tonight. I could tell you what I thought of it, but you wouldn't be able to say it on the radio. Well, isn't it a children's film? What did you go see Beetlejuice for? Oh, I tell you what, I saw somebody who could be the next to James Bond on a film last night. They're still, here comes that word again, prevaricating. They're still prevaricating about who is or is not going to be James Bond, aren't they? They've gone through a whole list of people, none of whom look like it to me, and I would imagine they're going to pick somebody who isn't very famous, as they did with the last one, because he'd been in a couple of films. He wasn't particularly famous, was he? What's his name? You know, the bloke from the Thing. What's his name? Daniel Craig. Yeah, not many people had heard of Daniel Craig. I mean, not outside of this country. He'd had a couple of small films. And then he was propelled like a rocket to the top of the tree. And I saw somebody last night and I thought, hey, you could really do it. But unfortunately, we've run out of time in this half hour, so I'll have to tell you later.
This is LBC with Nick Abbott.
You're joking.
0345 6060 973. Paul in Linsdale says, Nick, I think struth is a polite shortening of God's truth when used in exclamation. Is it? This says, I wonder if Starmer will get a load of freebies from Trump Tower merchandise shop. He'll be all nice and glitzy when he gets back. Well, I mean, there is some news from Trump Tower, and I'll get into that in just a second. But first, who's calling Hampstead? Isan.
Yes, hello, Nick. How are you?
I am super. Thanks for asking.
That's good. It's my second time to talk to you.
Oh, yes.
First of all, I'd like to thank the producer, because he's a very important man.
I'm the producer.
Oh, I'm sorry. I got confused. He was someone pretending to be you.
A person through the glass. Yeah. The I don't know what would be described as the phone op. I mean, receptionist is perhaps not accurate.
He deserves a tip.
Yeah, he ain't going to get no tip. No tips. No tips.
No. Okay. I'm sorry to say my condolences to the late dame who passed to her family and the whole country, the actress. Mm-hmm. And I want to comment first about cash and then about your toilet problem. But with regards to the cash, it's very important because we're talking about tipping the producer. Anyhow, cash is sovereign. It should not be refused because this is, it represents the currency of the country.
Yes.
So it does not. I think it should be commercial law that any retailer, any person selling an item, he cannot refuse. It's a method of payment.
Right, but so you can understand why retailers would be delighted not to have to mess with cash, because all of the trouble that comes with cash, they've got to have a float and they've got to have change, and there's the danger that they're going to get robbed, and all of that.
Yeah, that's true. But also at the same time, this is a sovereign currency of a country.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. I mean, I think it would be terrible if we got rid of cash, and we're going that way. And the banks dearly want us to get rid of cash because we would get more in debt if we did not have a direct physical connection with the money that we're spending.
That's true, but there's principles. Like for example, if some people they abuse a police officer, you can't do that because the principle is the uniform. You have to respect the uniform, for example. So also you have to respect the currency because then it can go on to that a retailer can refuse to pay to accept a purchase, from a person because he's paying cash or because of some other reason.
Yeah. You don't have to convince me, Sam. We've been around this tight little circle already. Okay. I agree.
Okay, with regards to the toilet, if you don't mind me, because you brought that up. I guess you don't have children. You're not married, and you don't have offspring or children. Because if you did.
Oh, you're disappearing here, Sam. What? I missed everything after the word children.
Yes, because builders, if there's kids when they're working, they'll be a little bit embarrassed to use the toilet and so on. So I mean, this is a halfway solution. If you're a nephew or some, if you have you're a father-in-law or something, you're an uncle. If you're an uncle, you can have them come over when they're built. Anyhow, I'm trying to. In our culture, sometimes the kids are sort of, you can, there is some.
I'm understanding not a lot of what you're saying, but I think you're suggesting that I lock children in the bathroom, and then the builders won't be able to use it. Is that about right? No, I got that wrong.
No, you have to have some people in the flat or the dwelling,
right?
When the builders are working, so that they have to keep their limit to, if they're all alone, then they'll take their freedom. But if the builders are knowing that
I don't think so. No, when you got to go, you got to go. I think that you can't decide to go at some point in the future later on. That's just not part of what makes up the human race. No, when you got to go, you got to go, and if you got to go right now, well, let it out. They're going to let it out one way or another, Isan. It's either going to be all over your dahlias, or it's going to be all over the vague area of your new toilet. Thanks a lot, mate. 0345 6060 973. Let's see now. Cheshire, Alice.
Oh, hello, Nick.
Alice.
Yes, I've got a solution to your loo problem.
You do?
Yes. It used to be the case that if the Queen or another member of the royal family were visiting premises, that the premises would have a new loo installed, and the loo would come with the manufacturer's wrap around it.
Right.
Sealed.
And his or her Majesty, sexist, would bring their own seat.
No. The seat would be there. It would all be in place, but it would have a seal round it.
But I believe that Chaz brings his own seat, or has somebody bring it for him, more accurately.
Yes, but it's a manufacturer. It should have it. You say you want the one with the manufacturer's seal round it, and you want the seal leaving in position, please.
Right. I don't know what is the manufacturer's seal on a toilet? I've never seen that. I mean, don't they just come in a box?
It's a wrapper around it.
What, like gift gift wrapping?
Like a wrapper, like a band, like a broad band round it and sealed.
Can't you just take the band off, do your business, and then put the band back on again?
Well, no, because it would be seen that it had been in any case. What you can say to them, if I want to check the toilet out for myself, so that I can see that it's in perfect condition. If the seal has been broken, I won't know if this might be down to your installation.
Yes.
So it could reflect on the price that you are paid at the end of the day. So you could always add that on,
Well, I suppose so.
But the manufacturer's seal leaving on, please.
And then they'd say, well, there is the seal. Now can I take it off and, do it?
Well, no, because they've left you. They've done the job.
Yeah.
They've left it there for you. I mean, I don't know if you're going to be in residence when they arrive, but if they're there, they just say, well, here it is, and it's done, and you say, right, thank you, bye-bye.
Yeah, I'll say, right, thank you, and they'll say, now can I use it?
No, you say no. You use the porta cabin that's in the yard or the garden.
And they'll say, what porta cabin? You didn't order a porta cabin.
Oh, well, I don't know how stingy you are, but if you're having if new loop, you put it. I mean, either if you live near a garage, they can go to the garage. If you don't live a garage, you have to go to the expense of having a porta cabin.
I'm not comfortable with any of this. I'm not comfortable with them using my toilet, and I'm not comfortable with telling them not to use my toilet.
Oh, I don't believe that. A man of words like you, I don't believe that for a single second.
Can't believe it. Believe it, Alice. That's me, that is. I have a quandary.
Just a note of authority, Nick. That's all that's required.
No, all authority leaves me like rats of a sinking ship when presented with a builder.
No.
Because, it's like it's like arguing the toss with a dentist. You've got no idea what they're talking about. They say that you need a filling. What are you going to say? No, I don't think so.
Well, I think that's a different matter entirely, isn't it? I mean, you're paying them for professional services that you know absolutely nothing about.
Right. Dentist, builder, car mechanic, the lot.
Well, no, this is not a service. This is an item. You want the item received in perfect condition with the manufacturer's seal still on it.
Right. And with no foreign...
I mean, I'm even giving you the words to say.
No foreign bodies in or anywhere near it.
Well, if you want to add that, yes.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, Alice, can you come over next week and you can explain it to them?
Well, I'm not so sure about that.
Oh, I see.
Returns first.
Right, okay. All right, good work. Thanks a lot, Alice. Cheers, my dear. 0345 6060 973. I wonder if Starmer will get a load of freebies from Trump Tower merchandise shop. He'll be all nice and glitzy when he gets back, said a text that I read out some while ago. And the co-founders of the Trump Media and Tech Group, the alleged brains behind Donald Trump's Truth Social. He is the master of gaslighting, isn't he? Truth Social. Anyway, the alleged masterminds behind that have sold almost all of their stock in the company, worth a reported $100 million. According to a regulatory filing, United Atlantic Ventures has disposed of nearly all of its 5.5% stake in Trump Media, traded under the moniker DJT, which owns Trump's Truth Social platform. United Atlantic Ventures is an investment firm owned by Andrew Litinsky and Wesley Moss, who were also, get this, former contestants on Series 2 of The Apprentice.
What?
It feels like we're living in a series of The Apprentice. Some shouter gets incompetents who think way too much of themselves to do stupid things for a slack-jawed television audience, who are too lazy to switch to something better on the other side. The duo sold most of their stake in the company after a lock-up agreement that stopped large investors, including Donald Trump, from selling any shares, and that ended on September the 19th. People have been waiting for September the 19th to come around because as part of the deal for floating this company, they couldn't sell any of their shares until September the 19th, and that's just come and gone. Trump, on the other hand, is yet to offload any of his stock, with the Republican presidential nominee insisting he would not be selling his shares and reaffirming his commitment to Truth Social when the lock-up agreement ended. He said, "A lot of people think I will be selling my shares, they're worth billions of dollars, but I don't want to sell my shares. I don't need the money," he said.
I make $400 million a year, so what difference does it make?
Yeah, it says the man who is now hawking watches like a con artist in the street. He might as well be selling knockoff versions of perfume while he's at it. The great smell of Trump. And when I was thinking about this before I came on, I thought, that is just silly enough to be real. I'll check. And I've done homework. You believe that? He is selling perfume. It's called President Trump Victory Cologne. I ain't making this up. President Trump Victory Cologne.
I can be more presidential than anybody.
And it's described as an Oriental fougere fragrance for men. And I looked up that too. Fougere is apparently French for fern. What's French for felon?
Don't be rude.
Its top notes are green, like the dollar, wood, like where his golf balls end up, spicy, like the stuff that he has chicken coated in, and ozonic and aquatic, selling mostly to the moronic. Yours for only £139.57 plus £61.17 postage on eBay. Wow. You could buy that and splash it all over someone you don't like. You'd be able to Smell them coming a mile away, I bet.
Nick Abbott on LBC. Call 0345 6060 973.
Hello. Number, please. Trying to connect you. Sorry to keep you waiting.
Yes, I am trying to connect a person in Belfast called Ian. Ian.
Good evening, Nick.
Ian.
Nick, just before going on about your evolution problems you're going to have, there was a programme, I don't know whether you ever heard of him, Johnny Knoxville used to be on it. I think it was Channel 4. He went round places and done really stupid things.
Yes, jackass.
One of the things, yeah. He went into a store, a bathroom sort of store, and sat down in a toilet and did something, and the owner didn't believe what he was doing until he went out and seen that he had. So just before you open your seal, make sure Knoxville hasn't been in a store where you bought it from.
Or maybe I could just tell the builders to go to a nearby bathroom supplier and test out their products.
Well, maybe not. But hey, here, have you a vegetable patch?
A vegetable patch? No.
No. Well. No, because I was just thinking there's somewhere you could get rid of,
Oh.
They could have, because I'm sure builders would spread your onions.
Yeah, probably
pretty
not.
much with manure.
Yeah, probably not, no. But keep thinking, Ian, because, it's vital that you keep doing that. All right.
No, but it's just a vegetable patch is where you would put manure.
Okay, I know. But I ain't got one. I ain't got no vegetable patch. I can only dream of having a vegetable patch. But thanks for that. And this text says, good that Tory mob out, but Starmer Reeves in their first 2-3 weeks, frightened, depressed, unnerved, made anxious all us public, awful gloom, and if you had the means, you'd emigrate ASAP. Wow. Talks a little bit like a robot.
Affirmative.
Talks a little bit like somebody whose English is like a foreign language to them. Is that you, Vladimir? This text says, I'd be one of those people that post on social media, and there's a particular site that has ticks, and they're always like the same kind of thing. Oh, there's no such thing as climate change, and burn more oil, and drill, and stuff like that. And you'll hover over their name, and they'll have like 16 followers, but they paid for a blue tick. Okay, yeah, I believe you. It says, Nick, my wife makes me do a number 2 in the guest toilet, and I'm not even vegetarian. If I makes you, really? Yvonne says, one word to describe Donald Trump, narcissistic. Oh, I do remember that quite some while ago I said, I did say what one word, and then I forgot all about it. And then 1,000 texts came in. But I'm reading them from the top down. So I'm reading them as they came in, which is not necessarily the right way to do it. I should be reading them in relation to what I've just said, because there are quite a few people who... It's like they conduct a conversation with me throughout the show. And by the time I get down to the message that they sent about an hour and a half ago, I've got no idea what they're talking about. But in my defence, some of them are quite specific and brief about what it is that they've just heard. I mean, I will get texts saying, no, it isn't. You're going to have to give me a bit more information there. 0345 6060 973. Let's see now. Ranjit, West Midlands. Ranjit is... Oh, there he is, just in time,
oh, yeah, mate,
just under the wire.
I don't know what you're doing.
Yes.
It's you're playing with your knobs, you see.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Right. Talking about the toilets, you've seen that film Carry On at Your Convenience, haven't you?
The what?
That film called Carry On at Your Convenience.
Oh, well, a long time ago.
Yeah, that is typical, He sits on there, he gets a paper, St. James, and he moves around a bit and says, no more than 10 minutes. Right. I can give you some information on these toilets. My plumber, when he was doing my house, he says the plumber has to christen the toilet.
No.
That's what he said?
No.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, that's one. And the other thing, a good builder will always hire a portaloo.
I'm not sure that's true.
No, they do. They do. You know what? I've had quite a bit of building work done, you know, and each time he says, look, I'm going to hire. I says, no, let the lads use it. He says, no, I'm going to have to use that one. And, you know, when my kids used to work for me in my shop, yeah, you know, they go on about me being not British, but my kids are definitely British because the first thing they would do, right, when they come to work is go in the toilet and stay in there for about 20 minutes and have to say, come on, you're supposed to be starting at 7 o'clock. It's 7:30 now.
In the morning?
Right? No, at night.
Oh, at night, right.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. And the British way, right, to Skype work is to go to the toilet.
Go to the loo. And then you'll be just scrolling on your phone for like 3 hours.
Well, yeah. I remember in 1996, I was working on the agency, and I have always thought from when I left school that when you go and work for someone, you create a good impression, yeah? And I was on the agency, I went to the loo, and I was back within like 2 or 3 minutes. And the bloke that I was partnering, he says, mate, how come you're back? I said, what do you mean? He says, you're supposed to spend half an hour in there. I said, not really.
In a job interview?
No, that's a job. We was doing, you know, I was only like sort of doing agency work, yeah?
Oh, right.
It was like, yeah.
Oh,
And
so
he
you
went
came
to
back out too quick, thereby showing up everybody else?
Yeah,
Right.
and then, you know, at the end of the week, the manager said to me, mate, he said, you know, next week, try and find somewhere else to go, mate. He says, because you're cramping our style. I said, all right, then, you know. And everywhere I went, it was like that for a while, but that's another story. You know, this Trump thing now, you know, in America, when they have like, who's going to be the vice president and this, that, and the other, it gets really ugly, even within their own party, doesn't it? Because I remember when Clinton and Barack Obama were running for the presidency, and I never really understood American politics until I started listening to your show. I thought they were on opposite sides, right? Now, you know, when Ian Dow's been interviewing the prospective Conservative leadership, yeah, none of them have really said anything bad about the other people, right? But in America, you know, I remember they really slag each other off a lot. So Keir Starmer, he should just turn around, and the simple answer is, we have to respect the office of the President of the United States, and whoever's in there is for those people to vote.
Yeah.
Instead of, you know, and that would be a gentleman attitude, right? And no matter what.
But as opposed to what, though? I don't understand what you're. I don't.
You know, like David Lammy said all those bad things
Yes.
about him, right? Now, if I had said all those bad things about him, I would never go for a dinner with him. I'd just say, mate, you know what? Do one. I ain't coming, right? And I said, I'll talk to you on an official basis. You ain't the president, yeah? When you are the president, you can speak to my Prime Minister, right? I'll speak to your Foreign Secretary, and that's it. That's what David Lammy should turn around and say. I mean, if I was going to partner people off, right, I'd like to see Sadiq Khan go to America, right, and see opposite Donald Trump. Do you remember when they blew up those dolls and everything?
Yeah,
and
well, that had nothing to do with Sadiq Khan other than him allowing them to do it. But, you know, Boris Johnson has said the most awful things about Donald Trump.
I think Donald Trump is clearly out of his mind.
And nothing much happened. The screaming Mimi called him Britain Trump. He loved him so much.
Yeah, but what did he say about Starmer? He's a great man. He's very popular. You know what? Because these people, right, they have to scratch each other's backs. Right? Now,
when you say scratch each other's backs, you mean that our representative, will crawl across the carpet begging for favours from the President of the United States of America, because there is no such thing as a special relationship, and what small relationship we actually do have is fully weighted to their side. Anyway, Ranjit, got to go, but thanks for that sort of tangled web of various ideas all over the place. Cheers, mate. 0345 6060 973. This says, not meaning to pick a scab when it's healing so nicely, but I've had the most fab idea to solve the issue of chilly pensioners this winter. Apparently there is some available accommodation already paid for up front by this government. It's in a lovely warm country called Rwanda. Yeah, but you did pick a scab when it was healing so nicely. Now we're talking about Rwanda again. God. And this text says, I've got a question that's been burning a hole in my sanity. How on earth do you stop the most annoying, funny-sounding noise of all time, the kitchen fire alarm? Every time I even just think about toast, it's like the thing is auditioning for Britain's Got Talent with his off-key shrieking. Do I need a fire extinguisher or just some earplugs and a stiff drink? No, I think you need a new toaster. Or just turn it down a bit. Or have bread would be better. Safer. 0345 6060 973. I want to talk about rats. Not political rats, but actual rats. I want to talk about the Prime Minister's clothes. But not what you're thinking I'm talking about. And, Thames water. Oh, and Vladimir Putin's going to kill us all. Nothing to worry about, but we're all about to die. 0345 6060 973. Friday, Saturday, Sunday night at 10. Nick Abbot, LBC.
On your radio, on Global Player, and
Play LBC.
Leading Britain's conversation. This is LBC. This is LBC from Global, leading Britain's conversation with Nick Abbot.
Oh, hello.
And I can't stand him.
0345 6060 973. David in Teddington says, Hi Nick, you can ask the builders to use the old toilet once it's been put in the front garden. It won't matter as everything will be going in the skip. If they wear a face mask during usage, that'll protect their identity. Well, not from me, it won't. No, that's not a good idea. This says, Evening, Nick. Another legend fell off the conveyor belt of life last week. Benny Golson at 95. Killer Joe and many, many compositions for the big screen and the small screen. MASH and Mission Impossible, to name a few. Benny Golson. Who's that? But a tune by him to bring your everlasting memories and feelings of summer. Check out I'm Always Dancing to the Music. You'll love it. And the album cover too. Vinyl to appreciate it. Benny Golson wrote the theme tune to MASH. And Mission Impossible? I don't think so. What, the one that goes dun, 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 dun? That wasn't Benny Golson, was it? Anyway, leave it with me and I'll look into it. Oh, I want to talk about James Bond. Just in case they do pick this bloke, I want to be the first person to say it on the air. There's a film called... well, I'll tell you in a minute. I saw quite a few really good films. I've been trawling through Netflix, or as the Mail puts it, Netflix fans go wild. For whatever it might be that they're selling at that moment. But to be clear, Netflix fans do not go wild, and neither does anybody really go wild, as it is frequently described in the press. Comedy fans go wild for new joke. Clothes fans go wild for new trousers. No, they didn't. Do they actually have robots writing this stuff, or is it real people?
Negative.
No, I didn't think so. Bodmin, Malcolm.
Oh, evening, Nick.
Yes, sir.
Oh, have I got a shed full for you tonight, mate?
Oh, yeah.
Hey, Maggie Smith died today.
Yeah.
Oh, God, a wonderful actress. And she, along with Dame Judi Dench, it struck me, they are very much peers of Elizabeth Taylor, pretty much exactly the same age.
Are they?
Yeah. Early 30s to mid-1930s. And what struck me, my father was born in 1936 and my mother in 1937, so they were all of
the same age. But two female actresses, two of the best we'll ever, I think, produce, who really made they became famous, if you like, if that's the right word, in their middle to late age.
Right.
And Elizabeth Taylor, look, made it huge very young and didn't do an awful lot after, the 70s, really?
After she died?
Yeah. Oh, no, 1970. Elizabeth Taylor didn't do an awful lot of acting after 1970, really, did she? Or am I...
well, not that I can think, but I'm no expert on Elizabeth Taylor.
Yeah. Anyway, that's that. It's just sad loss, I think, a huge loss to Britain. I was on my way to golf this morning and listening to James O'Brien, as you do.
On the way to golf?
Yeah.
How can you have that much time in your day?
Well, I'm retired, Nick. And listening to James O'Brien, as you do, on the way. And there was the most amazing caller who, I think O'Brien was doing a thing on Starmer meeting Trump for an hour. He actually squeezed an hour out of Starmer meeting Trump.
Right.
And this caller absolutely cracked me up. She spoke of the unique odour of Trump.
Yeah.
And it turns out that the odour is feces and fake tan cream.
No, I think you'll find that is Victory by Donald Trump, a perfume that is available from perfume sellers near you.
But apparently O'Brien was up on this because O'Brien said, does this relate to the story about the Donald wearing diapers?
Yes.
And I thought, what? How on earth does O'Brien, what interest would O'Brien have in Trump's...
Well, I've read that too. I mean, that is fairly... I don't know whether you could call it knowledge, but it is a story that I have read.
But that absolutely... I almost crashed my car, I tell you. But anyway, then the next thing on the list is Starmer and Trump, which is what the call was all about. And I don't get why Starmer was in such a rush to meet Trump. And I find it worrying, given the things he's doing here, that he would meet Trump and not Harris, but he can't meet Harris because obviously she doesn't particularly want to meet him.
Well, I don't know that that's true, and neither do you. He was in New York. Trump was there, so they just, their diaries were arranged, and it was like manna from heaven. But Kamala Harris was busy. Like their diaries did not coincide.
Yeah, manna from somewhere. But see, I would have thought it would have been better the other way around.
Well, yeah, of course.
All round. But now, the point I make is this. I think he lends credence to Trump's election campaign by meeting him. Now, and the reason I say that is, I'll qualify that by saying that this wonderful age-old special relationship that our Premier is in there for NATO, but he makes a beeline for Trump Towers. He didn't meet him in a neutral venue like the UN building, and they bumped into each other in the corridor.
Well, Trump isn't going to be in the UN building. Trump's not going to be in the UN building. No. So I mean, it could have been anywhere, but why not? Yeah. Why not the Trump Tower?
But anyway, well, the Starmer took the golden escalator upwards, upwards to the skies, where he met God. And for me, it's sick that he'd go there because all he had to do was say, "Look, Donald, you win the election on November the 5th, and we will then meet up somewhere because you will be doing the round." So that's that one, Nick. And then
but I don't think I don't think it was improper for him to do it, and I don't think it's going to affect the outcome of the election one way or the other, because nobody in America could care less about the Prime Minister of this country meeting Donald Trump. They would be hard pressed to name him.
No, I disagree. The undecided are the people... No, hang on, Nick.
No, you're deluded. America doesn't care about the Prime Minister of this country. They just don't.
You say I'm deluded.
you listen to this. The undecideds in America are 3, 4, 5% of American voters.
Right.
They are the intelligent one. Well, they're meant to be the intelligent ones.
They're not the intelligent ones because they're undecided. How can you, at this point, be undecided, for crying out loud?
Well, because they hold back their votes until they've heard all the arguments and then they decide in theory, right? But my view is, Nick, that I think it was a stupid move on Starmer's part to meet with Trump. Now, look.
But why, though?
You read out, well, I don't want to go into it because I'll antagonise you further, and I'm doing that a lot lately because I don't know where your views are.
It doesn't make any sense to me. The people in America don't care. They couldn't care one way or the other if the president of this country or the president of France or the president of Moldova or the president of Narnia came and visited Donald Trump. It's not going to affect their decision one way or the other. They don't care. They don't own a map in America. Most of Americans haven't been outside their state. I don't know whether that's true or not, but even if it isn't, it doesn't prevent it from being a fact.
I agree. The 45% of voters on each side of the Democrat, Republican the divide. I agree with you. They don't give a stuff about any other place in the world. I agree. Correct. But the 10%... who are undecided to do it. No. The 10% who are undecided, if it is in fact 10%, it's probably less than that. They aren't the ones that care about the rest of the world just because they're undecided. I would imagine that the people who have already made up their mind are going to vote for Kamala Harris are more concerned about what other people elsewhere think. If you watch American politics, it's about 10%, and about 6% of that 10% have already decided who they're going to vote for.
Yeah.
At the present time, it's around about 4% undecided. But Nick, just let me move on, right? Because we're going to argue about this, and I don't argue with it, my friend. Look, you read out the text earlier, which for me was the text of the year. I think the funniest text of the year. It had me in absolute stitches. My daughter moved to Glasgow last Sunday, and it was a huge day. September's a huge month for me. Wedding anniversary. My daughter's moved to Scotland, to Glasgow. And what's the other thing? My wife would have been starting back at school as in her head teacher role, but she's retired this September. So three very big things. And my daughter's moved to Scotland, and she's got a prepaid electricity meter, which she needs to change, right? And we had a discussion about how do you change your meter in Scotland? Is it different to England? But that's another story. But you read this text, Nick, and it is from someone who said that the pensioners, as a solution to the heating thing, it was only about 20 minutes ago, they could move them to the prepaid accommodation in Rwanda.
Yeah.
Now, so what that person is saying, you've got all these Tory voters who are pensioners, who are going to lose their energy, their £30 thing, because they are probably well off. They're not on the right kind of benefit to get the heating thing. And I just thought that was absolutely perfect. And then finally, Nick, what you know, that was it maybe went over your head, but I thought that was absolutely brilliant.
It didn't go over my head. I just didn't think it was particularly funny. But anyway, go on. Finally, and in closing, yes.
In closing, I think that the whole Labour issue, and you're able. They were all about what's her name, Angela Rayner's clothing, and the thousands of pounds spent on her clothing.
Yes.
And somebody phoned in and said, for the look of the suit that she bought, he'd have asked for his money back or something like that, because he's got these huge suits. Do you remember? And that brought me then to. Do you remember a band called
Wait a minute, Head? That was supposed to be the last one.
No, but it relates to
this is
the Talking Heads.
An allied topic. Talking Heads, the big suit, yes.
Yeah, right, the big suit. Do you remember that?
She needs a stylist. I mean, let's agree on that. Rachel Reeves needs a stylist. Somebody needs to...
Not Reeves, Angela Rayner.
Angela Rayner, yeah, that's right. Somebody needs to physically take the shoulder pads out of whatever it is that she's wearing.
Yeah.
Get with it, Angela. It's not the 1980s anymore.
But she struck me as having suits like... what's the lead singer of Talking Heads' name? It's
David Byrne.
His name escapes me. David Byrne, yeah.
Right.
And do you remember the big suit?
With the big suit, yeah, I know. Stop making sense. Exactly right. Yeah. Okay, Malcolm, I believe that you've somewhat overstayed your welcome, but then you did, flag up that you were going to give us one last thing and then that morphed into two things. I am very strict on issues like that. 0345 6060 973. This text says, Nick, about your toilet, buy two of the same toilet, tell them to install the first one, and then after they're gone, throw the old one away. Yeah. He actually didn't say toilet. I missed out a word. He said, buy two of the same toilet seats. Tell them to install the first one, and then after they're gone, throw the old one away. Well, have you seen how much a toilet seat is these days? It's like £100.
What?
For a toilet seat. You know, one of those that closes quietly and softly and slowly. Not that one that, not the ones that just slam down. You don't want that. Soft close, always. But, yeah, but the seat's neither here nor there. I mean, well, it is here and there. But that's not the it of it. I don't want them to use any of it. 0345 6060 97. It's causing me great mental anguish. I'm thinking about it a lot. That's all I'm saying.
Nick Abbott on LBC. Call 0345 6060 973.
I really like you. Do you like me?
Kevin Braintree says, on the subject of the soup, on the painting, he says, Nick, I could have cleaned that frame for about £3 with a damp cloth. I'll alert the National Gallery, Kev. Tell them you are available. This one says, why aren't the Just Stop Oil people throwing soup at Warhol's Campbell's soup? Because they were using Heinz, which is the wrong kind of soup. Sheila says, hi Nick, have you heard Southern Water are importing millions of bottles of water from Norway? Apparently they are short in Hampshire. Yeah, how's that whole privatisation going for you?
Oh, fabulous.
Are you beginning to feel like you've been had yet?
Yes.
Yes. Thanks a lot, Margaret Thatcher. Manchester, Raj.
Hi there, Nick. How are you this evening?
I am good, thanks.
Good. So I've got to think, what's your main, not the toilet situation, yeah?
Yes.
What's your main concern? Is it that somebody's going to use your toilet seat, or they're going to use the bowl, or both?
Both.
Because going in the future, other people will use that toilet at some stage.
Oh.
I'm just saying, the fact that whoever comes round your house.
Yeah.
So if it's just a seat, you can always just change the seat.
No, it's not the seat. It's everything about it.
Well, then I was thinking knackered.
Well, I expect so, yes, because it's not just... Because the seat is one thing, and that would be just awful.
Disgusting.
If somebody used the seat. But if they didn't use the seat, they were just, they were standing there, then some of it would go in, and the rest of it would just go all over the place. You know what men are like.
Dreadful.
Oh, I've got it.
Go on.
Put a sign up to say that you have to sit down to have a number one.
No, because then we've got the seat issue again.
Well, you've got to make your decision. Is it the seat or the bowl that you're prepared to live with?
Neither.
Used?
I'm not prepared to live with either of them.
As I said, you're knackered.
I guess so, yeah. All right. Well, thanks for that, Raj. That was no help at all. All right, cheers, mate. 0345 6060 973. This text says, this is your builder. Don't worry, I'll stretch cling film over your new toilet before I use it. See you Monday. That's a good idea. Kev says, Just Stop Oil should come to the one-horse town of Kilmarnock in Ayrshire, Scotland, and throw soup and orange powder here. They would make a damn sight better than it is now. It's an absolute dump. Is this... Don't believe I've ever been to Kilmarnock. Is it anything like Dalkeith? Nicole says, hi, Nick. No. Keep the cash. What if the internet goes down by Russia or North Korea? I'll keep some under the mattress just in case. Yeah, well, that is my thoughts entirely. Keep the cash. The KASH. I think it would be terrible if we lost money. I mean, there was a computer meltdown a little while ago, wasn't there? And tills in the supermarket weren't working, and the cash machine wasn't working. And, you know, if that actually did happen, for real, and there was like a Die Hard 4.0 fire sale situation, and you couldn't get credit anymore, your credit cards didn't work, and the machine in the hole in the wall didn't spit cash out at you, then what are you going to do? I mean, there would be absolute carnage in about 10 minutes, wouldn't there? I mean, people in supermarkets would not be able to pay for their goods. They would have to leave them there. There'd be fights with security. People would be trying to push full trolleys worth of food out without paying for them. There'd be fights in shops. There'd be fights in pubs. It'd just be it would be a blooming nightmare. So you should always have a little bit of money, I think, just in case Vlad does his worst. This says, just remember builders eat fatty, greasy breakfast before they start any work. Well, this is not helping. Battersea. Hello, Patrick.
How you doing, Nick?
Good, thanks.
Good. The £50 note that you give to a shopkeeper that he takes to a barber shop, that he takes to a bicycle shop, that he takes to a nursery garden, stays £50. As long as it keeps being spent, it stays £50. The problem with paying £50 by card is that the bank charges or card charges that go with it reduce that £50 value as it gets spent. You see what I mean?
Yes.
So they love it because every transaction gives them a little chunk of change.
Right.
But the shopkeeper is essentially only getting, I don't know, £48.50 something.
Right. The shopkeeper is down on the deal, and yet they have to take all of the risk of and the inconvenience of taking cash. They've got to get a float. They've got to get change. They've got to have all of that money on site, which is dangerous. Their staff might be stealing it. Somebody might come in and hold up the shop, or they might get lost, or all kinds of things might happen. So,
and it's heavy.
It's heavy. Yeah,
it takes a lot to move it,
and it smells. And you know what? I hate the new plastic money. I hate it. I mean,
I don't like it because it doesn't fold.
It doesn't fold. No. Correct. It does not take a fold. Yeah.
Yeah. But
I mean, to be clear, I'd like more of it, but I don't actually like it.
No doubt. The numbers in the account, so that feels good. But the actual card transactions are hurting the shopkeepers, even though they don't. They seem to be drifting towards less cash.
Well, that's right. They are actually sort of welcoming it, aren't they? I guess because of the convenience of not having to, deal with all that money.
Yeah, it's more convenient, but it does cost them the banks are doing nothing except just snatching a little bit of that money. It's like the petrodollar.
It's not even real money for them. It's just numbers on a screen.
That's it. But every time a transaction takes place, they get another little tick on that screen, and it's great for them. But we all suffer because that actual £50 note will stay that way if we keep spending it. the £50 you click, tap, and all that is reduced every time.
Although there is a flaw in your argument.
What's the flaw?
People don't take £50 notes. They'll look at it and say, no, don't take 50s.
Well, there is that.
Yeah.
There is that. 20s, 10s, whatever you want,
right.
It's the same because that transaction has a fee.
Yeah.
Banks love, shops, have to pay, and it's negative to us because, like the previous person said or caller said, the system goes down.
Yeah. I just bought tickets to a function, and they charged me £2.30 to deliver the tickets to me by email.
Yeah.
Email. £2.30.
It's crazy.
How can they get away with that? I mean, they can get away with it because they are the monopoly provider for tickets for that event. But that just seems outrageous to me.
Well, it is outrageous, but they can also get away with it because the multitude of people who wish to sit on those seats are prepared to accept it.
Yeah, that's right. Hey, wake up, sheeple. It's later than you think. All right, thanks a lot, Patrick. 0345 6060 973. Kitty texts, Nick, regarding the Just Stop Oil protesters, since when was glass porous? The judge says the soup could have seeped through the glass. Should I be worried about the rain on my windows? I would be amazed if anything could get through that. I'd be quite surprised if it wasn't bulletproof. I'm pretty sure that the glass that covers the Mona Lisa is bulletproof. You could go at that with a rocket-propelled grenade and you wouldn't get through that. Mind you can't get anywhere near it. I did walk through, but if you go to the Louvre, it is a bit overwhelming. I had to get out of there. It took me about an hour to find the exit, and I just couldn't get out of there quick enough. It was just too much. And I had to go and sit down and have a libation. Booze. And, just take in the day. But I did go through the room where the Mona Lisa is, and two things struck me. First of all, how small it is, and second, how you can't really see it from the distance that they insist you stand in front of it. I've never seen a picture with a crash barrier in front of it. And it's not just... you couldn't... from memory, it's about 10 yards. Can't get anywhere near it. And the sunflowers is one of the most famous pictures in the world. I mean, I know there's a series of them, but there's almost no more recognisable an image on Earth than Van Gogh's sunflowers. So they must have some pretty special glass over it, you would think. And they must have planned or at least considered that somebody would, want to spoil it in some way. So I'd be amazed if soup could get through there. But no, apparently they caused £10,000 worth of damage to the frame, which, I mean, it wasn't even the original frame that the painting came. It wasn't Van Gogh's frame. The National Gallery chose the frame. So I don't know what it was made of. But you'll just have to take their word for it. Sue says, what colour bathroom are you going for? Oh, I'm glad you asked, Sue. Pistachio. Not avocado. Pistachio. Maybe I should not pronounce it quite that way. Pistachio, not pistachio. Yeah.
Nick Abbott on LBC. Call 0345 6060 973.
Anybody care what this guy thinks?
No!
0345 6060 973. Devon, hello, Rose.
Oh, hello, Nick. Listen, I've got a couple of stories about builders, and I wanted to say something about Maggie Smith, if I may.
Yes.
Well, she was famous quite young, as a matter of fact. She played Ophelia in about 1965 on stage with Olivier. And the thing I wanted to mention was The Prime of Miss Jean Brodie, because
Yes.
I absolutely adore that film, you know.
Some of it was filmed in the Kirk next door to my school.
Oh, God.
In the graveyard that abutted the school that I went to in Edinburgh.
Edinburgh, yeah. Well, I mean, I remember lots of bits of the Prime of Miss Jean Brodie, but one bit I often think about is where she was telling Miss Mackay, who was played by the wonderful Celia Johnson in her later years, you know, and she was explaining to Miss Mackay that education is a leading out from the root Duco, I lead, to which Miss Mackay replied, I did hope there might also be a certain amount of putting in. I can't do the accent, but it's a priceless moment. I had hoped there might also be a certain amount of putting in. Oh no, said Miss Brodie. It's all about leading out what's already in the girls, you know.
Girls. Yes.
Oh, yes, I know. And she did her accent wonderfully. Not that I would know, except that I'm quarter Scottish, but that doesn't mean anything. Anyway, I think you'll be all right with this bathroom. Before I quickly say that, when you were talking a little bit ago, and you said just to us generally, you said it's causing this thing about the bathroom. It bothers me. It's causing me, and I yelled anguish, and you said anguish. So either you heard.
It's almost like we're cosmic twins, Rose. Anguish.
Yes, anguish. But I understand it perfectly because, my God, if I could afford a new bathroom, I wouldn't want anyone else buggering it up.
No, exactly. Yes.
You know, you've got to be the first to christen it, haven't you?
I've got to be the first and the only one.
Yes. But you see, I think
I'm going to have a seal on that door. I'm going to put like one of those like a lock, like on a safe. Like you've got to get a combination. In order to, because if I forget the combination, then I'll be in big trouble.
Well, you will. You see, I don't think this is necessary because all the experience I've had of builders, they're really kind men, and I think they will get it. In fact, they probably might bring their own Portaloo. I could just quickly tell you a couple of builder stories. It's only two. Every contact I've had with them, I had one recently actually, but the interesting ones are these quick two about why am I being quick? Why should I be quick? My motorcycle. When I first had it, which is many years ago, I was in Kent and I rode about 20 miles to Whitstable, and I happened to notice that along the promenade there was a huge, big, tall building with scaffolding on. And anyway, so I got off the bike and stopped it, I suppose, and got off, obviously, and looked at the sea. And what had happened, Nick, I mean, it's pathetic. It was out of gear. And I thought, why aren't the wheels moving? And I kept jogging about. And all of a sudden, I heard a shout, and I thought, oh, the chaps up there are shouting at each other. And I listened, and this voice yelled, "Help is on its way." I'm not kidding you. And this angel came down from the scaffolding and sorted me out without any sort of criticism, like you daft girl, you know. I mean, it was so lovely. And the other one was much more recently when Colin, the engineer, had practically rebuilt my engine. And I'm going up a really rather steep hill near here, big houses on either side, a really nice road, wide road with trees and big gardens and that, on the way up to the moor. And I was running it in, you see. I'd been told, don't go fast. So I'm going as slowly as you can up a hill. And what happens, an articulated lorry comes out from the right-hand side, right across the road. And I thought, my God, no, I'm going to have to stop. And it stalled. So I'm stalled on this hill. Well, you see, I'm not strong enough to support it on a hill if it's not actually running. And so what am I going to do? And I somehow managed to get it, for some reason, to the other side of the road. I don't know quite why. But I couldn't balance on it and kick-start it at the same time. Do you see what I mean? Because I'm not strong enough to hold it in position. And after a while of me sort of saying, please, God, help me, please, God, help me,
God actually did, personally intervened.
Came out of one of the big houses and said, are you all right? And I said, well, not really. He came along, and long story short, he was holding on to it, and he said, now start it. I said, don't let go. He said, I won't let go. And I started it, and I had to get to the other side of the road and all that. But the point, what I want to end this story with, because I've missed out bits, was I was saying to him, don't let go of it. He said, I won't let you go. You're going to be all right. And I'm not going anywhere until I can see you right at the top of that hill. And, you know, the kindness of it, Nick. Do you know what I mean? I mean, he was just so kind.
A miracle intervention.
Yes. Well, see, I think if you speak... No, it's just kindness. And they always do seem to be. If you speak to these guys and say, I really want to christen this bathroom myself.
Yes.
But I don't think you'll have the courage, will you, somehow?
I'm definitely not going to ask them not to use the toilet, no.
I think they may well already know that people want to christen their own bathrooms and don't use them.
Yeah, but it's not the christening part that concerns me. It's everything that happens after the christening part too. I mean, I'm just going to have to sell the house, that's all.
I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll ask one of my nephews is in the trade. I'll ask him tomorrow morning, see what he thinks. You can't sell the house. I'm sure it'll work out.
I'm going to set fire to it and claim the insurance. Don't tell anybody. All right, thanks a lot, Rose. Got to go. 0345 6060 973. Tyler in Croydon says, first timer here chatting, but in order to stop workers from using a bathroom, there is a simple answer. Take the door off. Yeah, but what if they don't care? I mean, that'd be even worse. Ipswich, hello, Emma.
Oh, darling, hello.
Emma.
I hate to say I've been on hold for a long time, but I've had to open another bottle. There you go.
I did just notice how long you've been on hold for, and I apologise. I'm very sorry.
I'm very sorry that I screwed up. Totally I mean, I am so sorry. You just don't know how sorry I am. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
Things it's you. Right, darling. Firstly, there are a couple of things. I mean, the idea of taking the door off, no. I'm sorry, builders are not going to care. They're so not going to care. I come from a family of builders, darling. They're not going to care. They're really not. Can I just also say, sweetheart, £100 for a toilet seat?
Yeah.
One of those. Get a sock. I don't care. Get one for about 30 quid and spend the rest on something else. I swear.
Well, I don't know. I think a toilet seat is an important part of your day. Don't you think it's worth investing in?
Yes, which makes this whole situation more worrying.
It does. It makes it worse.
And honestly, right, people that have their toothbrush on display, what are they doing? It's like,
no.
Right. I know. I'm sorry. Right, I've got a couple of 10 things. Well, I have been on hold for 3.5 years. Right. Quickly, she says. Right, now, I think you are going to have to brace yourself for the Portaloo situation. You're going to just get it, stick it out there, and let nature do its due, because, darling, you know what they're going to do.
I do know.
They will.
I think that boat's sailed. I don't think I can do it now because they've been doing a lot of work and I haven't had it up to this point because I haven't minded that they used the bathroom because all of that bathroom's going to get stripped out and thrown away.
That's what they said. Their boat sailed as well.
But when the new lot gets put in, then I'll start to mind.
I know. Hallelujah. Right. Secondly, I had, we've got a gorgeous postman. He's lovely. He's a dear chap. Knocked on the door one very hot summer day, obviously not this year, and wanted some water. Desperate for some water. And then as I gave him some water, he said, could I use your toilet?
Oh, like he wants it to in and out.
And so you can't diss me for being on the spot because you won't even person up to the builders. So I was there going, okay.
Yeah.
But the trouble is...
But you couldn't say no, though, could you? I mean,
no.
Unless you didn't want any post delivered for the rest of time.
You couldn't. But you know when time starts a ticking? Yeah. And
it's still in there like 10 minutes later? Oh, my God. Yeah. What are you doing in there?
It's a bit like when you have window cleaners at your windows and you're inside pretending not to see them, thinking, oh, my God, this is so terrible. This is so awkward. What do I do? So he came out with a smile And I was like, oh.
Well, that's the last thing you want to see.
It was absolutely terrible. It was horrendous. I wish you luck. My last thing, and finally, Ian Dale interviewed Kemi Badenoch. He interviewed her yesterday, and I've played it back and back and back and back, and I can't get what it is. But they come onto the conversation of James O'Brien, and she says, why would I be afraid of somebody, or why would I, feel less than somebody who's education? Oh, I'm just waiting for that to get spicier.
What's education?
I don't know. That's what I mean. I've listened back. I've kept replaying it. And
you couldn't understand what he said, right? Okay.
I can't get what Kemi said. Oh my gosh! I've just done the most awful thing and followed by a first name. Oh, you don't do that to any politicians. I can't get what she says, but she goes in for a right direct dig, and I was like, oh no.
Right.
So, yeah.
Well, maybe that was her working class roots coming through, because she did spend that 10 minutes flipping burgers in a fast food restaurant. So there is that. Emma, thanks for that. Thanks for waiting. 0345 6060 973. Angie in Worcester says, Nick, when we have workmen here, we let them use the loo. They're humans. Well, let's not get carried away, Angie. She says, what are they supposed to do? I'd rather they did that and find alternative ways. Yeah, well, you wouldn't want to be surprised in another room in the house, would you? Maybe that's a good idea, yeah.
Nick Abbott on LBC. Call 0345 6060 973.
0345 6060 973. This says, Nick, tell your builders you've developed an infection and the doctors advise that it could be contagious. No, I can't tell them that. It says, the builder may not work on the weekend, so maybe no charge, because that relates to the Portaloo not costing anything at the weekend, which seems a bit weird to me. Like, you pay for it by day, but they don't charge you on Saturday and Sunday. I find that surprising. This text from Alini says, a few years ago I was at my local newsagent when a postman, a young man I'd never seen before, walked in and asked to use their toilet. They told him they didn't have one, which I knew was a lie as they lived above the shop. He was clearly desperate, so I told him to follow me home and he could use mine. Alini, are you out of your mind? I also told him if he was in the same predicament in the future not to hesitate to knock on my door.
What?
I was so annoyed with the shop owner for not helping him out that I never have been to his shop since. It was a few years ago and I was a regular. They lost thousands of pounds as a result. But they have a sparkling clean loo though, Alini. I did want to mention that guy's name that I saw in the film. That could be James Bond. This text says, on that subject, Daniel Craig was in the first of them two Angelina Jolie Tomb Raider flicks, in which there was a scene where he did look somewhat Sean Connery-esque, just saying. Right, I've got no idea. I didn't see him. But the guy that I saw last night, and it's worth seeing, it's a pretty good film, it's called Revel Ridge. You ever seen that? And the guy's name is, I don't know. That's not very helpful, is it? No, wait a minute. I'll see if I can pull it up. One moment, please. The guy's name is Aaron Stone Pierre. He's English, apparently. Now, that doesn't sound very English, but apparently he is. And he's 30, which is right on the money, because the Bond people will want you for at least 10 years. So you can't start as 40, because then you become, like Roger Moore, or a bit creaky by the time you come to the end of the series. So he's 30 years old. He's called Aaron Stone Pierre, but there is a but. Now, some people, purists, might not like this, and when people were talking about Bond possible, I always thought, nah, but not because of his colour. And that was Idris Elba. I thought, no, it's not. It can't be Idris Elba because he's too old. I mean, isn't he about 50-ish? Something like about 50 years old. Something there or thereabouts. But this guy, and I won't tell you very much about the film, but he plays... well, I won't tell you anything about the film, actually, because it's best to unfold. The film's called Rebel Ridge. It's on Netflix. It's very good. And all the way through, I thought, you know what, that guy could really, really do it. If you can persuade an audience that the new Bond will be a black guy. Other than that, I can't help. Barbara Broccoli, give me a call and I'll point you in the right direction, all right? For a small fee, a couple of million, something like that. You can afford it. Huddersfield, hello, Alex.
Hi, Nick, how are we doing?
Good, thanks.
I feel like some people might need to lay off the wine a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit, yeah. Booze.
Yeah. So, a couple of points. When you were doing that, you were doing your Scottish impression with the lady before the last one. It reminded me that if you say Space Ghettos in an American accent, it sounds like you're saying Spice Girls in Scottish. Give it a go.
No, you give it a go.
Space Ghettos.
Oh, yeah, so it does.
Yeah, there you go. You can have that one on me.
It does, that's right.
Yeah. And then second point, so I was just driving home tonight and I realised, obviously we're trying to do this carbon neutral movement nowadays. Everyone's trying to be green and, just stop oil going crazy.
Yeah.
I've driven past 2 universities tonight, one in Huddersfield and one in Leeds, and they've got the lights on full whack in every single classroom.
What?
Yeah, and they've got these big LEDs on the side of the building because all these, new architecture and that, they all look really posh and sharp edges and stuff. And the lights are on full whack, and I think if anyone should be trying to promote carbon neutrality and green, it's the university students because they've got no better to do than join Just Stop Oil, half of them.
Right, correct, Amundo. They're not saving the planet.
No, so they need to start looking inward and think, what is it? Summer starts at home. What's the word? I can't remember now.
Something starts at home. Yeah, there's no doubt about that. That is just factually accurate.
But honestly, next time you drive past the university, have a look. I bet you £1 million, alt lights are on full whack every single classroom.
Right. I'm going to roll my window down and give them a piece of my mind.
Yeah, please do.
All right, good work. Thanks a lot, Alex. Keep your eyes peeled. This says, Nick, the pounds and notes and coins are not the country's currency. They are just the certificates and tokens that represent our currency. It's the same way a cashier's cheque represents. And that's where it ends. Unfortunately, there is nothing else on that text. So we'll never know what a cashier's cheque represents. Martin in Epping says... in Malaga, in Spain, they try to refuse credit cards because they've got big fees and they insist on cash. Or more recently, they have started using something called Bism that uses an app to do a bank transfer. I don't know, that sounded like an advert for Bism to me. Vancouver, hello, Nick.
Oh, hi, Nick.
Nick.
I just wanted to ring in and confirm to you, and unfortunately upset, I think it's Malcolm it was, that American voters will not be impressed by Keir Starmer's visit to Donald Trump.
They couldn't care less.
Because they don't know that he's... It's not even they couldn't care less, they don't even know he's in the country.
They don't even know who he... They don't even know who he is.
Yes. I watch American news obsessively right now because if Donald Trump gets into power, we're all in trouble up here, 20 miles away from the American border.
Yeah. I don't think the 3,000 miles that separates us is going to save us either.
Well, this is probably true. But I can tell you now, they haven't mentioned Keir Starmer's visit at all.
No.
He's not on the news. No one that visits other than Zelensky and Netanyahu. Those are the only two.
Right.
I mean, if Putin turned up, they'd probably report that.
Yes.
But Netanyahu and Zelensky are the only two visits to either the White House or Mar-a-Lago that are going to get any press here whatsoever.
Yeah. Correct. Okay, whilst there, yes?
Well, as I say, I'd like to register a complaint with whoever runs British music. We haven't had a decent concert in Vancouver in months. And then last Friday, we got Billy Bragg, Johnny Marr, and Paul Weller on the same night at 3 different venues. And I had a bloody cold and couldn't go to any of them.
Wow, that seems like poor planning.
Yes. I was like, it was just dreadful. I mean, I won't see any one of them again for a year now, I'm sure.
Yeah. Oh, well, never mind. Better luck next time. And don't forget...
Stop whining.
All right. So thanks a lot, Nick. 0345 6060 973. Well, if he would have gone, then it would have cost... You probably saved yourself, £6,000-7,000 in fees. Never mind about the tickets. I cannot believe it. I bought a couple of tickets to something, and they charged me £2.30 to email me my tickets. What's that about? I mean, that's just ridiculous. But you can't not pay it, because you don't pay it, you don't get your tickets. It's an outrage. Cumbernauld, Andrew.
Good evening, Nick, or is it good morning? I'm not terribly sure at this time of night, but there we go.
Either or.
What the solution for your builders is a commode.
A commode?
Yes, and have it strategically placed somewhere about the premises.
Now, when you say commode, you mean a potty?
Yes, or something of that ilk. A commode was basically a self-contained unit with a potty in it.
Right. I think a commode is like a cabinet that the thing goes in, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
And the builders can make use of that and leave your pristine, unsullied lavatory to be only be used by your very good self.
Yeah, but be sullied by me.
Yes. Yes. That's the only way around it.
Yeah, I don't know that I want to buy a commode, because that sounds like something you get on the Antiques Roadshow. I mean, how many thousands of pounds is a commode?
Well, I'm sure you could probably improvise or whatever. There must be
improvise. What? Put it in a packing container, like a box.
Yeah.
I tell you what, I could order one on Amazon and then present it in the box it comes in. How's that?
Then send it back as unsuitable and we'll get the money back from Amazon.
Now you're talking.
Doesn't even have to cost you anything, and your pristine loo will be.
Will remain pristine. Yeah, I'll send it back for the attention of Jeff Bezos.
this came with a little extra I didn't order. Can you please look into it?
Yeah, can look into this. Yeah, that's a good idea. All right, thanks a lot, Andrew.